And we are live.
Hey.
Boom, that's the main camera right there.
All right, how's everybody doing? Day 2, MEcon, we finally made it. Again, we keep saying the same thing. Nothing ever goes as planned. So you just gotta take it with grace. Gotta take what comes and have the best attitude possible, and let it roll.
Zero issues. It doesn't matter. Hakuna Matata, as I always say.
So how's everybody out there doing today? I know we're just getting you back on the stream.
Yes.
I'm curious to know, what have you been thinking about since yesterday? What really stuck with you from everything that you heard yesterday? What changes are you going to be making in your life going forward? And yeah, what's the biggest takeaway? So let's get on the stream here. Let's say everybody.
Yeah, we're going to give you guys a minute to roll in. I know that a lot of you are just getting to your email now.
Colin, you're the man. We got to know more about Colin.
Go ask a couple of friends to join you. This is, again, just getting started right now. So we have a couple of minutes so you guys can go ahead and get your coffee on.
Colin, tell us a little bit about, I see you here in the stream. What's going on? Why are you here? What was your biggest takeaway from yesterday? I saw you on that chat the whole time. You said you've been learning more here than you have in your university. So what are you studying? Where are you trying to get? So while everybody gets warmed up here, we've got quite a lineup today. We're going to try to get through as much content as possible. Don't worry, we already started uploading all the individual sessions right there on the channel. So check those out. You're going to be able to, just view them on your own time. But we really want you to, just absorb that as much as possible. I mean, luckily, as we were going through and filming all of these sessions, I was thinking, damn, wow, we've got some really brilliant friends. Like, I need to be doing this more often. And I've just been learning so much along the way as well. So today we've got people like the previous head of artist relations from TuneCore, who's now the founder and CEO of Teams. Kiana and DJFMI did an incredible interview with Kedar Frederick. So you're going to get to meet him in his new project, which is called Teams. He's going to help you strategize exactly what you need to do to release your next song. So you're not going to want to miss out on that.
Well, first of all, I mean, I really hope you guys know what TuneCore is by now. I mean, if you're trying to make music, release music, and distribute it, and you don't know what TuneCore is, then do that homework, But they are, one of the major distributors of music. If you don't know, obviously, all of us, we can make a song right now, put it on TuneCore, and it'll be in every store worldwide within an hour or minutes or whatever. I forgot how long it is now. But I do know that TuneCore is a very, very important tool. And Keter, used to run relations there, artist relations. And so very few people have as much knowledge as this guy does when it comes to, the process, right? You heard me say yesterday, GPS. So that path, that roadmap that you need in order for you to do a proper release, do you have all the things that you need in place, starting, for example, with an EPK, the right EPK to pitch yourself? How are promoters going to find you? How are promoters going to, book you? I know that it's probably going to sound a little funny, but there's this thing called MySpace back in the day, right? And I know most of you are like, what? That thing was a real thing? Yes, it was. And actually worked. I got discovered on MySpace, believe it or not. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because, even back then, as you were releasing music, there were certain things that you needed to do in order for people to care about your release. So the proper EPK, the proper pictures, the proper bio, so people can get to know who you are and about you.
But the marketing strategy, how to get noticed, how to get on the right playlists, how to, really build that audience on all those streaming platforms. And Kedar's story is super cool because actually before he went to TuneCore, his first company that he founded called Cloud Drop got acquired by TuneCore. Then he went to that company and went through that whole process. So you're going to hear some really cool things about that. Again, we're talking money today. how to make more money, how to save more money, how to grow that money. So we've got people like Jeff Hammer from Northwestern Mutual, one of the coolest guys and financial planners, you know, in the business. He's also a member of Women in Music. That's how we met him a couple years ago. He's just been a huge support. So he's going to walk you through that plan of like how to really grow your finances long term. Roman Yagudev, again, from Credit Victory, going to be talking about that. So we've got a bunch of stuff lined up, but I think, are we going to get right into first little interview here? We got a special guest in the house. He flew all the way from South Carolina just to be here with us today. Such a dear friend, a fellow hustler, and serial music entrepreneur, singer, songwriter, manager. Yeah, we're talking about you back there. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is that, you know, this is truly about, and this part of the story is really about, you know, character. When you first meet someone, you know, and they have, you know, a great integrity, humility, character, the ability to command the room, you know, also the ability to really network. And more importantly, one of the things that I saw early on in our friendship was his want and need almost to want to bring value to whoever he met. And in my case, when we first met, we were roommates actually back in Miami Beach, you know, just moving around South Beach, trying to get things popping, trying to get things going. And, you know, he began to bring value to the stuff that I was doing. And yeah, now I can say that we've literally been traveling the world together, and it's been an incredible journey. He's also an investor. We didn't mention that part. You know, the guy's been, you know, making moves and definitely investing in artists, investing in other people, investing into our company. My great friend Magic
Woo!
is in the house.
Let's hear it. Get over here. Yeah, that's you. You're up. Hold us right over here.
Hey.
Welcome.
There's the camera right here.
Hello.
Yo, and I gotta say, the one thing that I love about this guy, one thing that I want to talk, that I want to ask you about your method, because you are like the master networker. No matter where we go, again, we're in Dubai, we're in Abu Dhabi. No matter where we go, he's in China, we're in Italy, and he just fits right in, and he just knows everybody. Well, everybody knows him by the time we leave.
How do you do that?
What's the secret to that?
How do you do? Let me tell you a quick, super crazy story. I was doing a production. Hectic mayhem. I'm in the process of producing a video for. If you know about Dubai, I'm doing a video for a painter that's been commissioned to do a gigantic thing for the Burj Khalifa. So I'm actually doing the video for that whole process, right? And in the middle of, you know, I get a little crazy and creative, and I'm like, yo, I need a plexiglass because I think it'd be great if the painter's painting right on the blah 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 and this and that, and I'm in the middle of it. By the time I'm done explaining what I'm doing, this homie right here is already out the door, calling me from the car. Doesn't speak the language, Arabic, is out there pursuing this plexiglass in the middle of Dubai.
It was like 30 minutes away from Dubai too.
How did you even communicate with the guy? Sign language
and just doing a lot of this and see through.
Anyway, so tell everybody a little bit about yourself. How did you get started in music? And
well, I come from a musically inclined family, and honestly, my family was so great at music. I was sick of music because the musical gift didn't hit me yet. So my sister played the piano, my mom played the piano, and they both are great singers. But it didn't hit me yet. So I was just trying to shy away. Like, I just wanted to be outside, away from all of that. So it didn't happen until middle school. My cousin Max gave me a alto saxophone. And that's really when my musical journey began. I didn't know how to read music. If you remember that movie, Nick Cannon had a movie, Drumline, and he couldn't read notes. That was me. But I could play anything from the radio, television, everything. So my middle school orchestra teacher set me aside, and he made me go to first class orchestra, which was the best. And I just like, man, these guys way better than me. They brutal, but then as time progressed, I got better.
You got confident. You got confident.
And I gained first chair saxophonist. So that was when it really popped off. And,
so you've gone on. You have also a degree in music.
Yeah. I went to IPR, into Institution of Production and Recording in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
But you also moved to New York City when you first started. And what happened here in New York?
I was interning with Joel Santana. He's a hip hop rapper. So I was back and forth from Jersey and here and in Harlem. And I met a plethora of people all in New York. And I was just really just making music for free, really. Not even knowing the business behind it. I was just so caught up in being around these superstars and wanted to get my name out so fast. But it wasn't until I met this guy where I really learned the business of music and what I need to do and having the correct representation.
All right. And then how did you end up in Miami? Because we were writing songs with a bunch of people there too.
Yeah. I just took a leap of faith, really, to be honest. I got on the train from South Carolina and trained all the way down to South Beach, Miami. And, the path led to you. And we just, we made it happen.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we had another encounter. So this part is, let's just talk a little bit about, what is it that you see in certain artists that make you think, this has potential for commerciality, right? So for example, when we first found out about our friend, our DJ in LA, and how did you see, or what did you see that you thought was special in the music? Because we ended up taking that on tour.
Well, what I first see in an artist is the will to want to do music and want to pursue it. I want to make sure an artist is very hungry for this life, very hungry for, for their career to prosper. So that's the first thing I pay attention to. Because I get a lot of artists who say they rap or they sing or they write. Okay, 6 months from now, where are you at? What are you doing? It's
and maybe talented, but just don't have the hustle.
Yeah, and don't have the hustle.
Don't have the drive. Because
but sometimes I don't let that, even if they don't have the hustle, I'll be the hustle for them sometimes. But it's like, for a remote to work, you need a battery. And if you can't supply the batteries, then the remote won't work. And sometimes I have to be the battery and the remote for artists, and it just gets tiring and it drains me. So I do my best to fix it, but if not, then I have to go on.
It's a partnership. So that means right there, in layman's terms, even though you may have a lot of talent, you may be super gifted at one thing, you need a team, right? And both sides have to be each other's support.
Yeah.
You kind of got to be there for one another and know what your strengths and your weaknesses are so that you can help one another take it to the next level.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the project that you're working on now with Honey.
Well, I'm tour manager for a DJ. She's out of Los Angeles. Her name is Honey Love. She's blowing up. She's booked for all the major EDM festivals. And I'm just, working with her from the ground up.
How did that start? How did you?
So I met her through a mutual friend. She was in the military at the time. And she was telling me, she knew I did music. She was like, I want to DJ. I want to do something with music. I was like, okay. And she said the day that she got out of the Navy, she was going to hit the ground running. And that's what she did. And I saw it, and I just had to, I had to bring the magic to her as well. And so now we've been traveling all over, DJing, different states in one day, different shows in one day. It's a lifestyle that, that you have to want to do and have to want to be a part of. And right now we're working on getting features for her, becoming that superstar DJ that she wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we are.
How have you found these opportunities? You've had her on some of the biggest stages. You've been here.
Well, we have help of a guy by the name of Hamilton. He's a great guy. I call him Big H. That's my boy. He's been in the DJ scene longer than I have, and he knows the connects. And I just help manage our DJ, and we both get her gigs, books, things of that nature. And
So it's all about building the right team,
Yeah,
building
the
those,
team. You gotta
finding
have
those
a team.
go-to people who have the plug for each individual thing.
Exactly. You have to have a team no matter what. You know, like you can't do it by yourself. People try and they fail and they burn themselves out, but you have to have a team. It could be one person, it could be two people, but you have to have a team. Yeah.
What do you think is like one of the biggest challenges that you see in the music industry that you've experienced or had to kind of navigate?
Artists staying consistent. That work habit, you have to work. Like
that work ethic.
Yeah, if you really want,
if
you really
for
want
a long period of time.
Yeah,
like it's not. This isn't a year that you're gonna be famous, right? Or more. Yeah.
Like you have artists now who are like my favorite artist because I've been around was Lil Wayne. There is no artist ever work like this man. Like no, is if you look at some of the credits on his prior albums, they say recorded on a tour bus while on tour, going to this destination. So, you know, I've seen the best of it, but you have to have that blueprint. You know, that's why you have, you know, where did Drake get his blueprint from? Lil Wayne. You know, so you know, you have to be consistent with it. You have to stay on the grind, make no excuses. I understand things happen in life, but you have to just keep going if you really, you know, want the best out of your career.
Oh, go ahead. Your question?
No. I was just gonna say, you know, I've seen this. I've seen what's been happening with your DJ, and I mean it's phenomenal because not long ago, when was it, last year?
Yeah,
we shot a video for her here in New York City
at the Brooklyn Mirage.
And so I'm excited that you know I got to work with you guys. You guys are both amazing. She was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, the
better.
Brooklyn Mirage, if you've been there, you know, it's legendary, you know? So that's pretty phenomenal. So last but not least, what exactly is a message that you want to, you know, put out there for the music entrepreneurs about, you know, what is the first step to get yourself on tour? You know, because it's happening pretty quickly for her.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you guys are doing to make it happen?
Just putting out more music and booking shows. Just
wait, you did an EPK as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She has a lot of songs out right now. She has an EPK out right now. But yeah, you just have the key to it is just staying consistent and, you know, keep your face to the world. Let the world know you. Let the world see you. Let the world come into your somewhat personal space. Make the world feel that they are a part of you. And you know you'll float out and you'll keep going. Yeah.
When are we going back to Dubai? And what's happening there?
I plan on going to Dubai in January so we can, you know, witness this expo that they have. They have an expo in Dubai right now. It's for 6 months straight. It started in October. If you are into the tech world, or if you need investors, or if you have inventions that you want to showcase, Dubai right now is the place to be.
Yeah.
The expo is amazing. You can watch it on YouTube. I mean, it's state of the art from beginning till end. So, yeah.
Yeah. And if people want to if you're watching and you want to go to Dubai, hit us up. We've got the contacts there, especially Magic.
Yeah.
He's got.
And that's one thing too I like to share with artists, like artists that I want to work with, or they may want to work with me. I have connects all over the world with music. I don't care if you want to have your music played in movies or what NBA games. I have connections to all of that. So
what kind of artists are there? Any particular types of genres that you like to work in? Types of artists that
to be honest, I don't want to limit myself. So I'm down to work with any artist.
Okay.
I mean, I'm from South Carolina. I was raised with gospel, bluegrass, jazz, hip hop, country, all of that. So I have an ear for all of it. I have a knowledge for all of it, and I know who I need to get your music to. This guy, he's you too. So
if people want to send you some information, send you some music, where can they reach you?
You can reach me on Instagram at Magic Forever. That's MAJIC, the number 4, the word ever.
And one last thing, because I've said this to you before, it's always about visualizing. Manifestation begins with visualizing and having it in your heart and getting that feeling, right? So give them a little bit of what was it like for us to get our artist to in front of 150,000 people.
I believe it was more than that. It was at least like 200,000. You just, you have to show
What was that feeling?
The feeling was great, but at the same time, it was scary just to be in the midst of 200,000 people in one area. That could be overwhelming for you if you have issues with that. But what most artists, they want to see it, show them that they can be on this stage, show them that their music, if not them physically, can be on the stage, show them that their music can be there, put it there, let them know that this is real. There are a lot of people who sell dreams, but I'm not one of them, and yeah, you two aren't any of them. So
all right, well, thank you, my man.
And one more thing I want to tell people,
I
want to tell artists, let's get this starving artist thing out of the way, because I want people to know on a different tip. Credit is the biggest thing that an artist could do. If you don't have your credit right, then you need to get it right, because that's a door that you can open for yourself, as far as if you need to pay for
actual
time,
credit.
Actual credit. Like, you can hit me up about that too. I have a specialist. His name is Mr. Zoda Goat on Instagram. That's my cousin. He bought my credit from low to high, and I was able to use the bank money to finance trips, finance studio time, equipment, anything like
build
that.
Your company.
Yeah, build your company. So that's another way that you can prosper with your career.
There you go.
Great credit.
That's a great message. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, appreciate you, my man.
All right, see you. I will run.
Safe travels back to
hey,
South Carolina.
My brother.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.
There you go. So, I mean, listen, this is always special when you get to share these moments with someone that you actually know, that you grind it with, that you shared little bowls of food together.
The highs and lows.
Because you had to spend, the little bit of money you had on food to share. No, I mean, it's beautiful. Since that was almost 10 years ago. We've traveled the planet and done a million things already, and it's a beautiful thing to have seen how successful he is. He actually didn't mention that he and his mother have one of the most successful construction companies in South Carolina. He didn't mention that part, So it's really phenomenal. Big shout out to Miss Betty. Much love. And so, yeah.
And that's how you make your dreams come true. Not everyone, again, we're entrepreneurs. We got to figure out how to make it happen. So for some people, keep that day job, learn another industry as well, invest into real estate, do different things so that you can fund your career. That's what we had to do, when we got started as well. We built a marketing branding agency that could help us fund the label and, grew everything from there. So everybody's path is different. There's, no exact science to this or rule book. You just got to figure out what works for you and make that happen. So we've been, talking so much about this whole credit thing that maybe we should just jump right into that with Roman. I think we've got that video uploaded and ready to go, or we can jump in with
No, we'll jump in. I think that's very, very good.
Because this is essential. It's all about the money. I mean, what can we do without the money? What's possible? I mean, come on. We gotta nail this financial literacy thing. And we really drill home on this because, look, did anybody learn this stuff in school? Because I don't remember really taking much of that finance. But maybe you're from Canada. I don't know. They might have things here, but in the U.S., I don't know. I think we get all kind of set up to fail, but we're gonna change that, and so we're gonna get everyone on the right path and really understanding, the nuts and bolts of this. So let's hit it with Roman. Back on, yeah? All right, you guys can hear me? The sound was off. You know, I wish I had all my notes from this conversation with Roman. Again, don't worry, we're gonna upload all this stuff so you guys can hear. All right, you guys can hear me? Let me turn this sound was off. But
Wait,
he
hold on.
had,
Let's test it out first.
so many great tips.
Guys, tell me if you can hear the audio now on the video.
Together, which I'm very excited about with you and Jalen. From the moment I met the two of you, I knew you both were very different. You had a dream, you ran with it, and now we see what it's turned into, right? Music Entrepreneur is global. Everybody knows about it, hears about it. It's no longer, hey, what's that? The business of music, and that's what it is. By the way we change our lifestyle. You know, like you were saying, you were treading this conversation. I was looking forward to it as a follow-up to, being at the conference a few years ago. And the reason for it is because people always ask, what is the secret? Right? You have so many people talking about it. There really is one secret. It is, and this is the only one we need to remember. Right? Yes. Well, hey, if you want to stop watching here, you can. The secret is real simple. Don't have any late payments. Don't have any late payments. And why is that? The reason is the negative of credit is so much more dangerous and powerful than the positive of credit. And what I mean by that is, and I'll give you this little example, is if you have a late payment on your credit card, right? It takes only 30 days to be late on your payment, and your score can drop 50 points or more just with one late payment. But take the other side of the equation. If you made your payment on time on one given month and you're within the 30-day range, your score doesn't go up 50 points. So there's that balance, right? The negative is so much harsher than the positive. And why do I bring that up right up front? To let you know that credit is a constant work. It's a constant road under construction. It's a lifestyle. It's like working out. You constantly got to be thinking about, am I doing the right things? Am I taking the right steps to maintain my credit and to raise my credit score? And definitely shouldn't be doing anything to drop my credit, because that can just happen with one late payment, right? One missed payment and boom. And it's so hard to climb back up from there. So I want to start off with that. That's the secret. So I hope you'll listen to the rest of this, because there's going to be some really interesting things. But why credit victory? Why funded victory? Go back to your question. So I personally, am not embarrassed to say, have been impacted by poor credit. I made some poor decisions when I was younger and had very poor credit. Also, some unfortunate business dealings with some unfortunate business partners that have led to bad credit. So now climbing out of that black hole, as I call it, which was very hard, especially, today you go on YouTube, there's thousands of videos. And you know what? Everybody wants to be a credit expert. And by no means am I looking to say, hey, I'm going to give you golden nuggets you're not going to hear anywhere else. But I'm going to give you the ones that are important. I'm going to tell you today what you can do every day. Simple things that can change your credit, the way you think about credit, and the way you can raise your credit score. Simple things, nothing complicated, and the way you can change your mindset over it. So that's important. And because I was personally affected by bad credit, poor credit, I figured, and it probably sounds like the typical story, right? I had bad credit, and I thought, hey, I could do this for other people, and it's exactly what happened. I learned the industry. I learned what you can do, what you can't do, and I actually personally restored my own credit. I couldn't afford to pay a company at that time to restore my credit. That's a fact. And through the books that were available and trying different strategies, I was able to increase my credit score. I don't want to start misrepresenting numbers and saying, hey, I had 400 credit score and I went to 750 in 60 days, because that's not realistic. One of the things I want to talk about, and I made some notes, and the reason for it is credit is a topic you can talk about literally for hours. At least I can. And I don't want to be all over the place, so I wanted to really make some bullet points for myself about the things that I want to share today. So once I personally went through that, and it affected my life, affected my family, and it took a while to get out of there, right? Because I didn't have anyone holding my hand. I didn't know what worked. It was trial and error. But when I did learn, I can tell you one thing. It's one of the things in your life that when you get out of a situation of having bad credit to better credit to great credit, your whole self-confidence changes about you. The way you walk, the way you breathe. And I can say that even with my conversations with Jayla, right? I didn't bring it up, you did, so I'm black, so we can talk about it. When Jayla literally helped him what we did, and he started educating himself, he even spoke differently, right? I remember that call when he called me. He was like, Roman, oh my goodness, this worked, my score went up, we're doing these things, and I got approved for that, I got approved for that. It's just a whole different level of excitement. You walk differently, talk differently, right away opportunities open up for you, right? And that's one of the things I love about credit. It's one of those things that really impacts you in a positive way. When you walk into any store, and you can apply for credit for a car, for an apartment, for a home, for a mortgage, whatever it is, and know that you're going to get approved. You're not sitting there thinking, I hope not, right? It's just you carry yourself in a different way. You feel better about yourself, right? And those are the things I'm going to talk about today. What do you do on a daily basis, on a weekly and monthly basis that can make you feel that way, right? There's some things that are out of your hands, which hopefully with our help at some point, maybe down the road, we can help you all out depending on the situation you're in. But there's definitely things you can do every day. So fast forward, I decided and I said to myself, you know what? I really want to build something different, and different in the sense of I don't want to be just like every other credit restoration company, right? Helping people rebuild their credit. I want there to be something where they know and they feel confident that they're actually paying for something that makes sense. And that's why I launched Credit Victory. Maybe towards the end, if we have some time, I'll talk about what makes us different than the other guys, right? So how do we stand out in the crowd? I'd love to talk about that. And as we started building Credit Victory, we started helping people all over the country restore their credit, we found one common denominator, that when people fix their credit, what do they want next? They want money. They want capital. They want access to capital. People literally would say, hey, oh my goodness, I'm at this score. I'm going to try to now apply for an auto loan, a mortgage, an apartment. I want to get a credit card. But the problem with that is people get too excited too fast. And if they don't do it right, they end up back in the same situation where they started. So what we started seeing was we were helping clients rebuild and restore their credit 6 to 9 months. And then a year or a year and a half later, we would follow up with them, maybe for referrals or just to see how they're doing. And we started finding a lot of people that we helped ending up in the same or worse situation. And we said, something doesn't make sense here, right? Where are we dropping the ball? Well, we're dropping the ball where we're not continually educating our clients. And number two, we're seeing all these people run out, right? It's like Black Friday when the doors open. Everybody goes for those 30 televisions, right? They just all run for it. It's the same thing. The gates open, the horse is out of the stable. I've got credit. Oh my God, I'm over the 700. Let's apply for the credit cards. Let's go buy this. Let's go that. No. Don't do that. Please don't do that, right? There's ways to go about doing it, right? It's all steps. It's all steps. Because you work so hard to get out of that hole, you want to at least try to maintain it. So we said to ourselves, we found all these people that are going and applying for these loans that they either don't qualify for or really not for them at that time. What should we do? And I said, hey, you know what? We need to bring this full circle. Not only should we be restoring people's credit and educating them along the way, we should also be able to help them with securing capital, getting into funding programs that make sense. And that's why we launched Funding Victory, the sister company to Credit Victory, because it really is, you know, when you overcome bad credit or poor credit, it really is something that you're victorious over. It really is a victory. It's like, yes, it's such a good feeling. And it's the same thing with funding. When you go to a bank, the bank turns you down because the bank, you know, they have their blinders on. They only see things one way. They're in a box. And we can put you into one of our alternative funding programs, and you can get access to capital. Just when 2 weeks ago, the bank told you no, it's the same feeling. It's like, yes, you know what? There are options for me. So that's why we built that bridge from credit to funding, and we have kind of more control over the entire process. And our motto at Funding Victory is money that makes sense, because money has to make sense. You can't just go borrowing just anywhere, paying, you know, very, very high interest rates, because it's going to get you right back into the same situation. You know, when you're making money, your credit's great and everything's good and dandy, life's wonderful, right? We have no problems with paying high interest rates, even if we have them. But we all learned in these last 2 years, we got with COVID, that the reality in life can change in a snap of a finger. We have to be prepared. So that's the long, short answer of how we got to Credit Victory and Funding Victory. I'm very proud of what we're doing, right? Because we're a company with heart, and I think Rachel and Jalen can vouch for that. They know me a little bit, and I try to do everything with being mindful of the individual, of how I want to be treated, how I want my family to be treated. And this is not all just about money. It's about really helping people through this dark time in their life to navigate through this system. And it is a system. And believe me, we know this system well. We've created a very well-oiled machine as to how it works and how to, with implementing good behaviors, good lifestyle changes, you can always maintain good and or great credit. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, this whole conversation also is not necessarily for everyone, or thinking that everyone out there maybe has bad credit, but like we were talking about before, just not knowing enough how to build up credit, both on the personal side and then the business side as well. So as an artist, as a small agency or indie label or whatever, you know, there's those two things to think about. It's like, how do I actually build up business credit? Do you want to talk about the difference maybe in the two?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up, Rachel. First, you know, we're here at the Music Entrepreneur Conference, the business of music, right? And it is a business at the end of the day. And every artist should look at themselves as a business, right? You know, music is definitely the language of my soul. I love music. Jalen and Rachel know how much I love music. It's part of my life. I love it as much as I love credit. I can talk about it. But, you know, musicians today have to look at themselves like music entrepreneurs, like a business. And they are a business. And one of the things, and one of the most important things about business is creating business credit, is building a credit for your company separate from your own personal credit, right? And that's a long, winding conversation. There's a lot of options there. But just so you, and all of you out there who are listening, understand that the moment you become an artist and you start thinking that you are an entrepreneur, which you are, and you are a business, that you need to start building your own business credit. And again, there's a lot of information out there on the internet, and we definitely, our team can help you with that, with free resources, and there's some paid resources that we have to help you build your business credit. But once you build your business credit, the amazing thing about it is it's separate from your personal credit. It does not impact your personal credit. So you can be dealing with, and like Rachel said, you may not per se have bad credit, but you may not have the greatest credit. You might be somewhere in the middle. But you can start building your business credit, which is completely separate from your personal credit. And you can actually start build yourself great business credit while you're working on your personal credit. And the two have nothing to do with one another. and you can self-fund your entrepreneurial journey in your business or whatever it is that you're looking to do for your music. Because it's hard to get money out there for artists. You know, I know that firsthand. I have a lot of artists that come to us and ask us about, you know, getting funding. But, you know, like anything else, any lender who's looking to lend is looking for collateral, right? But, you know, if I lend you money, what is it that you have that guarantees that I'm going to get paid back, right? One of the things that people always ask me, well, explain to me what is a credit score? What's a FICO credit score? And I try to always simplify it as much as I can, just for the average conversation. And I actually wrote this down today. I have it in front of me because it's the simplest way I can describe what a 3-digit FICO score or credit score is. A 3-digit number that tells any potential lender how you historically paid back your debts, right? Any lender wants to know, if I'm giving you this money, how are you at paying it back? I need some kind of gauge, right? And that's the gauge, it's that number. So just to go back to the question, entrepreneurs, music entrepreneurs should be really focused from the get-go. As they're focused on, hey, you know, what's my genre of music? Who should I use for publishing? Who should I align myself as a music producer? All the things that musicians think about. One of the things that should be at the forefront right from the beginning is thinking about setting up their business or their corporate entity, an LLC or an S corp, whatever their accountant advises them, and right away out the gate building business credit. And as we build this relationship with all of you music entrepreneurs, we look forward to sharing that information with you, letting you know how you can do that on your own or with our help.
So what do you think, I mean, what's the first step for someone who is, you know, struggling a bit with their credit? Are there certain sites they need to set up on to just kind of track where they're at? Like what's the starting point?
So starting point, my first golden nugget, as I want to say, and it really is a golden nugget, because this is really something that really changes the dynamic. So every time I walk into Starbucks or into the pharmacy or and I see people using their debit card, I'm just holding my head, saying, why are you doing that? Sometimes, you know, I'm a vocal guy. And you know, sometimes I just want to say something, tap the guy on the shoulder, and say, what are you doing? Right? He may have a perfect credit score. It doesn't make a difference. He shouldn't be using his debit card. Now you say, well, why? Well, just to backtrack on that, because right away some people will be like, oh, wait, Roman, that's the wrong advice. Because you shouldn't be putting stuff on credit cards you can't afford. You're right. First, you shouldn't be charging anything that you don't have the money to buy in the first place. But think of it this way. You using a debit card is basically you saying, hey, I have the money in my checking account and I'm giving you my money in my checking account. You're not doing anything for your credit, right? At that point. What you should do is, if you have the funds in your account, let's say you're at Starbucks, you're going to charge $10. Put it on a credit card instead. You know you have the money in the bank. That's why you're at Starbucks spending $10. Charge that drink and scone at Starbucks for $10. And then pay that credit card off with the money you have in your bank within 7 days. Now what did you do? You charge something on a credit card, you build some kind of history, and you paid that amount off within the 30 days that you needed to before your billing statement is generated. And you showed in good faith to the creditor, to the credit card companies, hey, I'm reliable. You let me use your credit. I spent $10 of it. I paid you back right away. Right? Now, that's a small little example. That's not going to be enough to go to the Mercedes dealership tomorrow and say, hey, I'm ready to sign and drive an S5 class. But those small changes in your daily behavior, you know, X amount of times that you use a debit card daily. Let's say they say the average is 5 to 7 times a day. So imagine 5 to 7 times a day, 30 days in the month. That's 200 transactions. So that's 200 transactions potentially you could be putting on your credit card and paying off. Do you know what that shows a lender or a credit card company? That, wow, this person is reliable. They do what they say they're going to do. We lend them money, they pay us back. So that's one simple trick I tell everybody. Stop using your debit card. You can bring anyone on the show you want to talk to me on this. They could be a financial guru of 40 years. They're not going to dispute that there's no benefit in using your debit card whatsoever because you're not building credit history for yourself. The history of how you pay off your credit card bills. So that's number one. Number two, pay more than once during your credit card billing cycle. So you have a credit card, you get a monthly statement, there's a due date on there, it's usually 30 days, right? And usually most people are like, hey, I have a due date, I need to make sure I make that one payment before my due date, which is a good way of thinking about it. Because again, I started this show off with, please, no late payments. That's the secret, right? That's what hits your credit the hardest. So if you make more than one payment, there is an algorithm that these credit bureaus have to figure out what your credit score is. You know, how do they come up with this 3-digit number? And it's an algorithm that I can't explain to you. Most people can't, right? It's like Google's algorithm. Go figure it out. Today you're ranked number 1. Tomorrow you're number 5. And nobody knows how that happened. So it's a similar algorithm, but it's a little bit more predictable than Google is, right? Because there's 5 factors to that algorithm, which I'll talk about quickly. And one of the things we know predominantly that is effective in hacking that algorithm legally to your favor is making more than one payment during a billing cycle. So I went to Starbucks, I charged on Starbucks. I went to the pharmacy, I charged up. I went to the cleaners. Let's say that day you spent $150 on your credit card. Within 7 days, that's just my rule of thumb that I tell people. Within 7 days, by the 7 days, usually that amount already appears on your credit card statement. Go to your bank account the same way you were going to use with your debit card and send a payment to your credit card company and pay that off. Get into a habit of doing that every 7 days. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of money. Well, number one, we're going back to the premise of you shouldn't be buying something.
All right. We're going to pause it right there right now. And what we're going to do is that we're going to let you guys check out the full video. I mean, listen, credit is one of the most important things that I ever did in my life. And it was actually our Roman's company that allowed us the opportunity to fix it. I mean, I was like a lot of people, you know, I made some mistakes in my career and in my life where with certain credit cards and certain things, I didn't pay on time. And guess what? He completely hooked me up. Now, you don't have to use Roman. You can use somebody else. But the idea here is just to teach you how important credit is as an artist, as a music entrepreneur. We're not your typical music conference that's just going to talk about, you know, hey, you should produce a song with the Yamaha, blah, 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 or use Ableton or whatever. That's cool. But I think that the most important part about you know, the conference is really what you get from the mindset and from the business side. You know, this is why we really focus on giving you as many tools as possible and not just talking about it, but bringing you people that are at the top of the game in that particular industry that can actually help you and will want to help you because they're associated with our community.
And everyone that you're going to meet here, these are our personal friends, right? So we're not just sending you off to any companies or making any suggestions because we know there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of companies out there that don't do what they say they're going to do in the music industry and in others. And so we know that people like Roman and companies like Credit Victory are going to do what they say they're going to do. The cool thing about with his company as well, if you do choose to utilize them, is that they don't even take any payment until they've done what they've said that they could do, and they've maybe removed things off your credit, a variety of things. So really cool. And I just love that, you know, he's really got the inside scoop. Like he said, this is all run on algorithms and these little minute changes. Like one thing that he told me too was to never pay down your credit card to absolutely zero. You want to leave like $1 on it. I don't know if he got that far into it, but just these little tips like this go such a long way and can really help you, you know, get your credit up there and maintain it. And then they also have Funding Victory, which is really great, which will allow you to be able to actually find alternative sources to funding. We're going to be working hand in hand with them as well to really figure out what are the types of funding we can bring specifically to those in music. So stay tuned for that. We definitely want to get as much information from all of you as we can, as well, of like what you're looking for, where you're at in your career, and how we can help. So next up, we've got, again, a really cool session. Oh, and Remy's is done, so we're perfect. You got it up there?
I do
With
have
tune
it
tracks?
up there.
Cool.
I'm gonna ask you to just give me a minute as I'm gonna set up a different.
And like we mentioned yesterday, this guy has been running some of the biggest venues in the US, in LA. He's worked for Live Nation. He's worked for some of the biggest touring companies, worked with the biggest productions. And he just knows exactly what people are looking for as far as booking goes. And so he's really laid out the exact roadmap for you. So we couldn't. This is the entrepreneur roller coaster. Who was I talking to? I did an interview with Randy from Coda, who you're going to see soon. Again, Coda Music, definitely got to check them out. Get over to their website and get on their waiting list. But one of the things you're going to hear him talk about in the interview that we did is, he said in his previous company, they always had a picture on the wall of monks on a roller coaster. So, even as you're going through it, it's just being able to center yourself and, find peace and find grace in all of the challenges that come, because they are going to be inevitable. And it's really about our ability to maintain that emotional intelligence, that through all that chaos, we really can, we know what's really most important. We're not letting ourselves get, all frazzled, because guess what? That directly impacts your brain and impacts your ability to make good decisions. And that's another thing that's really going to always propel us forward, is just our ability to stay calm and always make the right decisions and be able to see, the whole landscape of what's happening, and not let ourselves get narrowed in, on those minute challenges and things that are happening. So remember that, monks on a roller coaster. I want you to think about that the next time that you're having some challenges and things just aren't going the way that you want. So again, going back to Remy and Tune Tracks, I hope that you went there yesterday. We talked a lot about it. You want to get to Tune Tracks, TRAX.com. Check out all these opportunities that are there. Right there, you can start, applying to get on stages. And that's where we all want to be. We want to get back on stages. So he knows the biggest festivals, the biggest shows that are happening. He's bringing them right to your fingertips, and everything else. I mean, there's so many features that they've been thinking about, and they're building out. So there's even more to come over this next year. So you're not going to, want to miss out on that. The whole team behind Tune Tracks has just spent decades in the music industry, really trying to crack this code and using technology to just make all of it easier and allow you to, really grow a career that's going to be sustainable. And like we said yesterday, this doesn't mean that we're, saying you're all going to be the next Bruno Mars or Rihanna and be making gazillions of dollars. We hope that you get there, and we want you to get there. But guess what? If it first starts with figuring out how to make your first $50,000, right? And then doubling that to 100, and then 200, and then 400, and then 800. So it could be, 5 years down the road that you're able to make that $1 million. And the first couple of years that you're hustling, going, and you're thinking, geez, I've been putting so much time, so much energy into this, and I'm still only making $100,000. But just always remember the compound effect, okay? What you see today is not where you're going to be, 60, 90 days from now, 3 to 5 years from now. So you just got to be able to ride that and have faith, have blind faith that if you stay consistent, like Magic was saying, staying consistent, staying the course, really have a plan and roadmap, and really know, just the economics of this business and how it really works, you are going to be able to get you there. And now you have us. So anytime you have challenges, like, we're just, an email away. So you're going to be able to get those answers that you need in real time. So don't stress about that at all. We're going to be there for you. And again, please send us an email. If you're watching right now, we want to know who you are, where you're trying to get, where are you having the most challenges. The more that we know, the more we're able to bring specific talks, specific programming, everything that's really geared just for your business and just what you're going through. And that's what we're here to do, right? I mean, we've been in this business for quite a while, but we just have our perspective and we know what our challenges are. So we want to know, again, where you're trying to get and how we can help you get there. We want to set up things like mastermind groups so we can put, 10 or 20 really like-minded people who, are growing at a similar stage in their career to really, again, have those friends around you who know what your life is like, know, what it is that you're going through. Maybe have some additional little tips and things that have worked for them and are going to be able to move you forward. So mastermind groups are, a really great way to, learn from your peers, learn from great people. So we're going to be setting that kind of stuff up. So again, go over to the Music Entrepreneur Conference website, hit the little menu icon. You're going to be able to see different programs that are coming. Hopefully you got the downloadable worksheet from Suze yesterday and found that really useful. Thank you all for the beautiful feedback that you were giving to us, based on those sessions that you were watching. I know I heard a number of people just talk about the different habits that they were going to start to make in their daily routine to create that unstoppable mindset. Because to tell you what, the science of perseverance, that's where it's at. It's all about how to deal with this and keep going and know that these are just lessons, right? We're learning all the time. And there's just, so much happening. I mean, every day things are changing. You're going to hear from Wendy Day, who's been in the industry since the 90s. And boy, oh boy, she's had to pivot time and time again just to keep up with the industry. But she didn't let that get her down. So I think we're doing pretty well here. How are we doing here with this next session? We're going to get rolling. We need a few seconds. Maybe you guys want to take a little break, fill up your cup of coffee. I know some of you, it's pretty late. If you're over in Europe right now, you're pushing 10, 11 o'clock. So thanks so much for staying up and for being with us. I'm going to hop here on the chat real quick and see what's going on. I'm just starting out as a singer-songwriter, and all of this information is great as advice for beginners and definitely appreciated. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that. And we're really rolling out information for people at all different levels. I wish, we could just bring everything all at once, but we would be here for days. So we want you to just take, little bite sizes of info, again, different things that you can apply to your business, to your personal life. Try it, and then let's get back together and see how some of that worked and what you have questions about next, where we're going to go. So who else is in here? I want to know. So we've got singer-songwriters. I saw Colin talking about, he's studying communications. And he's got a podcast and some different projects that he's working on getting off the ground. I'm curious to know more about what you're looking to do in the music industry. Sounds like you've got quite a passion. You've been here the whole time, so dedicated. This is where it starts. It's like, what do you do when no one's watching? Really, that's the thing that you want to think about when people, aren't paying attention. What decisions are you making for yourself without anyone giving you a pat on the back, just because you know that it's going to get you a step closer to your career? I want to call up a quick little in-studio guest. He's looking at me from the corner of his eye. He doesn't even know I'm about to call him up here, but he's coming. He's coming. Daniel, get your butt up here. We gotta talk to him. So I actually met Daniel through Women in Music. I saw a super interesting post come out through Women in Music. Hey, man,
how's it going?
Thank you for being here, for
here.
supporting. Yeah, we're right here. So he's a member of Women in Music. I'm going to have him share a little bit more about that. Also a recent graduate from a music business school. And what I love about this guy is he's just out there interning, learning, meeting everyone he can, trying to figure out his next move.
Want to know where the best
So,
buy, you know?
tell music entrepreneur, the Me fan. That's what we call you, the MEcon
Yeah.
fan. So tell MEcon fan a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you are probably young as well, getting into the music industry. You're probably trying to figure out how to be an entrepreneur. A lot of you are probably creatives. Me personally, like I'm working on developing myself as a songwriter. So just being out of school, you know, graduating in a pandemic, it's, you know, the last time this happened was like 1918. So we're definitely in some crazy times right now. And so, you know, as I've been networking virtually and meeting you and getting more familiar with your conference and what you're doing to help music entrepreneurs, it's been very humbling being here and learning. And, you know, I think, you know, anybody who's, you know, watching this live or is going to watch the videos in the future or is going to take some of the master classes, I think, you know, this is the place to be, you know, especially as, you know, we're growing in this digital age and, you know, technology is evolving more and more rapidly. You know, you have to be following the innovators and the entrepreneurs who have been doing the work for, you know, a decade plus and are continuing to take those leaps of faith like you two are doing and pushing us farther and farther to places where we can support ourselves successfully. Because we've all heard the horror stories of how artists have traditionally been treated historically in the music industry. And so I think what's really great about what's happening now as we're going into the 2020s is there's starting to become more and more of a focus on artists not only supporting themselves financially, but supporting their mental health and supporting their spiritual health as well. And so, you know, I think all those things, the finance, the mental health, the spiritual health, they all go hand in hand to make your life, you know, worthwhile as an artist. And so, yeah, you know, being a recent college grad, you know, for any other people who are recent grads who are getting into industry, just something I've been trying to work on is really keeping that positive mindset. Like I have an app that teaches positive affirmations. So yeah, it's all about just retraining that mindset, really being humble, intellectually humble, and really, you know, being a student of life, like always trying to find something to learn every single day, even if it's outside of music.
I love that attitude. So you recently finished an internship with Song Trust.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, New York City.
Tell everybody about Song Trust and what you got to experience there and what was, you know, what you got to really take away. What did you learn? Because I know they're going to need to know all about this. This is where the money is at, right here.
Yeah. So Song Trust is a music publishing administrator based out of New York City. It's under downtown, which has offices all around the world. And they basically support independent songwriters. So their job is really to follow where the money is going, not just in collection societies in the United States, but outside the United States. And so doing that internship, I worked specifically in income tracking. So I really got to get a good look at the various income types that artists are looking at, like mechanical royalties, performance royalties, sync royalties, full sync licenses, micro sync, which is something you're seeing more and more with like music being used in like YouTube videos and other social media videos, and looking at how that's tracked not just in the U.S. but in, you know, other collection societies in Canada and Europe and South America. There's now a building market in the Middle East. Where, you know, I forgot the name of the collection society, but they're really starting to build infrastructure to help songwriters there collect royalties for themselves. And
Yeah.
so Songtrust, with a catalog of over 3 million right now and
Wow.
growing, they're really starting to become at the forefront of helping those independent songwriters collect their royalties.
Yeah.
And they're still expanding and creating those relationships with international collection societies.
There's so many places to register your music. I mean, really important things. The next time we go live, you're gonna get to meet a guy named Dave Bogan, who's from the MLC, the Mechanical Licensing Collective, which
Very
is the new
important.
place.
Very important.
Not many
Yeah.
people know yet that you have to get registered with the MLC. So please write that down, make a note for yourself. What are some other places that that people need
What's
to
the website?
get registered? The Mechanical Licensing
Yeah.
Collective.
Yeah, just
I don't know. I
MLC.
probably asked this MLC. But there's so many different places. So Daniel's going to tell you a little bit more about that, but also Songtrust. The great thing is they really do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Of course, they do take a little percentage of that. We were talking about that the other day. Some people are a little conflicted, like, ooh, do I want to give that 15% away or not? But when you realize, wow, there's thousands of different collection societies and
You don't want
royalty
to put in that
streams
work.
and all of that. You don't want to do all
it's
that
a
yourself.
lot.
So sometimes you gotta, give and take a little bit. Mhm.
Perfect. I think we should go to our friend out in France.
Okay. Oh, we're ready
Well,
for Remy.
mhm.
All right.
All right.
Well, Daniel,
Hey.
thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
We're
we'll
gonna
talk
come
more.
back. We're gonna bring him because we gotta fill you in about Marco, his organization that really caught my attention. And just want to thank him for being here. He's been behind the scenes, working on organizing a lot of the bios, all different stuff. And he just showed up. He came all the way from Connecticut and has spent the week with us. But guess what? Now our network is your network. So see how that works?
Network is
I mean,
net worth.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it. So one hand washes together. So thanks so much for being here. We
Thank-
really appreciate
thank you for having me.
Glad you could come.
All right. I'll see you soon.
All right.
Here we go. So
now we're queued up.
Yeah. Do you want to just give them a little?
With Remy. Well, I've been telling you all about Tune Tracks. I don't need to tell you anything more about this.
Okay.
And Remy, your guy, you got to follow him. We're going to make sure his LinkedIn and all of his information is there. Again, there you go. You can utilize some of the services right away for free. So hopefully you already have your whole profile, everything set up. And Remy's going to walk you through how to use it. And most importantly, why, what's happening.
All right, here we go.
Remy, welcome to MEcon, man. Thanks so much. Yes, great. We've been looking forward to this session. As you and I have been preparing for this, I've just been so excited because you're going to bring so much great information to these artists to want to hit the road, want to be touring more and just get more opportunities to get out there. So I'd love to know, give us a little background about how we got here today
and where Tune Tracks came from.
So basically, I am a music entrepreneur. I should say music tech entrepreneur. Being originally from Paris, where I'm located right now, and I manage venue. And we're actually in Paris, and I relocated to Los Angeles back in '97, really to follow my passion for both music and technology. So this is, the last 15 years I booked about 40, I don't know, 4,325 artists, and hosted about 1,300 shows, from local to regional to national and international acts. So that passion in assisting up and coming artists is really, helping them to be successful in their career is really what's been driving me in my own personal career. And why did I start Tune Tracks? Basically, well, I will have to explain what Tune Track is all about, making the assumption that not everybody knows. But I spent many years, like as I mentioned, running concert venue and producing music festivals and booking thousands of performers, in my career. And what I witnessed is the struggle that artists have. First in the struggle having, underrepresented artists or up-and-coming artists to grow their career and to represent themselves. So to feel the immediate need, some musician friends and I and myself, and don't consider myself, although I play music, but I don't consider a musician. We created a set of a do-it-yourself tool, that an online tool for them, which ended up called the platform ended up calling Tune Track. So today, an artist, as an artist need a website. They need a media kit. They need all the social media plugins, accounts. They need a MailChimp to send, their newsletters to their fans and stuff. And on top of that, they need, distribution, like, services like CD Baby, DistroKid, whatever they use. And that was not enough. They also need to run their promotions, everything from, the release of the single, the EP, announcing the tour, that sort of thing. So, are you getting Daisy? No? Not yet.
Wait, he froze. Okay.
It froze for a minute, but I think the computer got.
I think the computer got dizzy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It got overloaded with all the information, but we're okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of where did we leave it? Where did I get? Where?
No, we heard everything up to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's where we, Tune Track come in. So from creating, a press kit to promoting, shows, to managing social media channels, all that sort of things, connecting with fans, of course, to give you an opportunity to just do about everything an artist needs to do online, with Tune Track, just in one place. And that's very important. That's something that we'll discuss a little bit further later on in the presentation. So basically, Tune Track become an all-in-one tool platform, if you will. So that helps artists to self-publish, to distribute, to book, and promote their music.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you've helped so many artists. You've been on the road, obviously produced so many events. You've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. What we're going to talk about today, I know we can talk about a million things, and luckily we are going to be hosting some future workshops and master classes with Remy. So you're going to want to get signed up. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But right now we're talking about the EPK, the electronic press kit. What do you see? Okay, so we're going to go into all the things.
Which company? Can you name one of the companies that you were working for before? Big name.
The company I worked for before.
In the touring space, you told me.
You really want to make me feel really old. Well, one that's really appropriate today to talk about is Love Nation.
There you go. That's it. I just wanted to make sure that, because Live Nation Urban is one of our partners. They're powering this conference, so I just wanted to give them a shout out. That's just a little plug.
And Remy, you run one of the coolest venues in LA. So
that's right. The Wilton Theater, my favorite venue.
Wow.
Yep, absolutely. And many others. Now, I used to work for a company called Digital Island out of San Francisco, and we ran digital media content for Disney, Universal Studio, and many others. Capitol Records, just to name a few. So,
Big veteran in the game. Love it.
right. But I'm like you guys. I'm most likely with an independent mindset. So as a music tech entrepreneur, I kind of wanted to do serve the underrepresented, if you will, underrepresented artists. So today we talked about the APK. Like Rachel mentioned, we do a lot more other stuff, and hopefully we'll have enough time to talk about touch base about all the things that how we can help artists to be successful in their musical career. So
Yeah. So
there's a
you're
lot more.
booking shows. So you're booking shows. You're looking at all these artists that are trying to get on stage, and you're flipping through all these EPKs. What are artists doing wrong that they're not getting noticed and they're not getting booked?
I will tell you in a minute. You want me to? Well, there's first of all, I think there's like a misunderstood what an APK is. Not everybody understands what it is. So the intention today is kind of reminds you somewhat, of people listening to the broadcast, just a reminder what's an APK, what's an electronic press kit, what do you need for, what should be in there, and what do you need one to start with, like to answer your questions, right? So, this is like for some of the guys listening, this is like, duh, we know that, like this is the basics, but believe me, when we engage in conversations, on the daily basis with up and coming artists, it doesn't matter the size and the geographic location of them. Some of them is like, what is really an APK? I know I kind of know what it is, but I really don't know what should be in there, and actually, I don't really know how to use it. Now everybody talk about having an APK.
That doesn't surprise me. I honestly run into right now on the chat. I'm sure a lot of artists, when I say the word split sheet, they're gonna be like, "Huh?" And, and that's the one thing that you need to get paid. So
Right.
Right. I get it.
So that's kind of like what we've been working with you guys, and we're super excited to talk about teaming up on this and on this workshop. I mean, the APK is kind of like the starting point. Like engaging and getting those the artists. I think we have a common understanding that they need some help and
I want to say it in layman's terms for those of you watching. An EPK is sort of like your profile picture on Tinder. It's either going to determine whether somebody swipes right or swipes left. And trust me, these companies swipe the wrong way all the time. You want to get chosen, you need to have a great EPK. Therefore,
awesome. So why don't we get started? I'll show you. It's going to take not very long. I'll show you the basics. I'll show you some samples. More importantly, what's a good APK, what's a bad APK, that sort of thing. Walk you through a couple slides. I promise it's not going to be boring. And then towards the end, I kind of want to give the people listening to us what we have cooking for them as far as the music entrepreneur beyond the conference. So ton of awesome workshops and seminars and webinars. So I'm pretty stoked about sharing, if you don't mind, to share some of that today. Yeah? Okay. Should I share my screen? That's the way we're doing it? Okay, cool. So I'm going to share this one, and I'm going to share, yes, this one here. Okay, so, all right. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So basically, we walk you through, brief, a quick presentation, what the issue of, I'll go back. It was like an introduction, where we are quickly, briefly, and what is an APK, what do you need it for, and what should be in your APK, right? So as I mentioned, Tracks is a one-time shop for independent artists to self-publish and promote and distribute the music and to get booked. So really, our mission is like really in sync with what music entrepreneur, mission is assisting independent artists to be successful in their musical career. So whether it's helping them like manage the content, providing the two track platform with all the tools to manage the publish and distribute the content, to helping them with sharing, and I'm pretty excited to show you some of the functionality about social media, how do we handle it so we don't artists don't spend countless hours of on the computer. The whole idea of Tin Track is like, look, let us do what we know how to do the best, which is developing tools for those artists while you're creating and focus on your music. So as you know now today, I mean it's not just being an artist. You almost have to be an entrepreneur. You're 50-50. You have to be creating music 50% of your time, and a good chunk 50% of your time you're focusing on whether it's promoting it or sending out your APK to medias, booking shows or booking a tour, that sort of thing. So that's what Chintrack is about. So what is an APK? As John said, it's an APK. Before we were setting out, it's a digital version of a professional carrier. We used to send a physical kit. So people would go, they will take the car and they'll drive to the radio stations and they say, here's my APK, and they will hand out a hard copy of, with a CD and, nice little good looking picture, possibly, and a little bio about the band. And these APK will be used for a bunch of different purposes. We'll get into detail, but from booking show at venues and festivals to contact media outlets, radio stations, and music promoters. So the issue with old school with APK, and believe it or not, as a handler myself, I'm still getting a lot of PDF attachments and a ton of links in their email. Let me tell you one thing. It's like you almost guarantee that I will never open that email if you set as a $10. If you send me a booking request from wherever music festival that I'm producing or a show that I'm booking, if you send me an attachment, most likely myself or any $10 that I know will open it. There's privacy issue. There's scam. There's viruses. There's and it takes time. It takes a lot of if I don't know you at all, if I don't know who you are, if you send me an attachment, I'll probably won't open it for obvious reasons. So also, when it's a hard copy and if you go the old school way, it's hard to update the APK, and then you're not sending in the same APK to the media that you're sending to the venue, So imagine that every single time you have to go to Kinko's and make your hard copy, and then go with the CD, it could be, time consuming and also expensive. And also, on obviously the hard copy, except if you actually physically, go and end up a CD, you can stream from a PDF file, right? So that's self-explanatory why we think that's not a great idea. So, the reason we use a press kit is to get, press, obviously, a press kit, what press can be called an APK, to get article, interview, blogs, and magazines, all the stuff that, you think it's important for the person on the receiving end to know about you. Let me share that. Next step, to get your music played. So as I mentioned, whether it's a radio station, it could be non-commercial radio stations, internet radio, it doesn't matter. Now that you most likely going to have electronic press kit, you can use it for multiple purposes, and we're going to get that. To get shows, to book gig and be successful at it, to send out to APK to calendars, festivals, whether it's a festival, it's a venue, or a showcase, a South by Southwest, or to just music promoter that's actually booking your show, or to private gig. So that's sort of thing. It's also used for to recruit managers, to recruit booking agents, any professional, music professional. That's really a tool that can help you out to, talk to publicists, even potentially talk to a sponsor. Like they want to know in a quick snapshot what you're all about. They're not interested to read a book about your life and find out what you're all about. They want to know in 30 seconds. Maybe we'll spend a minute to find out if they want to actually find out more about you, and therefore it's important to get your contact information in your prescription. So what should be in your APK? Obviously your bio, and also something to consider in your bio. I'm getting press kits where I have a page bio. I'm not going to read that either. So give me like a elevator pitch, a one small paragraph. Give me a medium one, and give me a long one. You can have multiple options and multiple versions of your bio. There's not just one single version of a bio. And so the photos, obviously, professional photos. It's also a good idea. There's a lot of requests. People requesting black and white version of the video. Including good quality photos, and that's something else. So we've been talking with music entrepreneur to offer type of services to independent artists. Having your logo as well, that's a good idea as well. Your music, that's self-explanatory. I want to be able to listen to your music. Create some song playlists of your albums and stuff like that. Video, the same way. Most likely, the video come from YouTube those days, but you can upload your own. If you don't want to use the television network, you can use your own, native video as well. Article, as we mentioned, as well. Or any press, that's relevant. Any interview, anything that cover your band in the past, it's good to have in there. Achievement. Did you ever receive awards? Were you, noticed in the, by, some radio chart, airplay? It's not, not worthy to, or the festival or show that you perform at. That's being noticeable. Your contact information, detailed contact information. Email, phone number, and your name. That's it. That's pretty much all we need. And of course, all your social media links. So today, as I mentioned, they're old school to do APK. What's important is to get everything in one spot. Okay, so you don't want to have a chunk of information somewhere and then have to leave and go somewhere else and click on YouTube because you're not able to handle video, for example. Focus on positive APK experience. No distractions. I don't need background music. And the artist, you're the one that control the context and the way you want it to be displayed on the APK. That's very important because there's some solution out there where you have no control how all your information is being displayed. I think you should have control. If possible, get an APK where you can make some, dollars, some money. I don't think that's a bad idea. While people are checking me out, someone might buy my CD or download my digital album and sort of things. It's a great way you APK to learn about your fans. So that's kind of like what we call the APK main ad. There's a lot of different solutions. Not a lot, but there's a lot of solutions. You can build your own website. There's a lot of solutions that's not really performing the web-based ideas of an APK to be able to update from anywhere, anytime. So the next generation of APK is actually an interactive APK, something that is reliable. You can manage all your content, you stay 100% in control. It's mobile friendly because 80%, as we know, people are connected, through their phone, most likely 80% of the time. So it's very important that when I get access to the APK, it's formatted for any phone in your handheld devices. That's super important. Show your calendar of upcoming shows and events. That gave me as $10 an idea. What have you done in the past? How many shows have you done? Have you performed? And what upcoming shows do you have going on? And then of course, if I want to go deeper and get to know you, I'll look at you. I'll extend, your social network. So it's also a great way for you to share your APK with the rest of the world. So there's a bunch of resources that we offer, and we'll get into the the fun part, we're actually looking at APK, what we think the APK should be. Um, TuneTrack.com is a great way to get more information. We offer professional services. We mentioned the workshop and webinar with Music Entrepreneur that's coming up. We've got a bunch of video tips. We have one specific, getting more in depth into what should be in it, what's an APK and what you use it for. Um, so the services, some of the services related to the APK that we provide, we have a team of music marketers that can help you to build the APK. If you say, oh gosh, like this is a great presentation, but I don't know where to start, so we're here to help you. We truly passionate about what we do, and we're very proud of like stepping in and helping every single artist that needs help. So you get that, you get the music marketing pro that can help you out, building your own APK. It's important that you get, when you choose solutions, that you get full support when you need it the most. Not only for yourself, actually it's free to sign up on TuneTrack and create your APK. But, make sure that, you have some kind of ongoing support, later on the road, like when it's time for you to promote your show and, to send out your APK to media outlets, you have one question. Who do you ask? Where do you go? Get people, make sure the people that you trust, with your APKs actually will be there for you. And then last but not least, something that's very unique what we do is not only helping you to build the APK, but we help you to meet your business opportunity. And then I think, Jalen, we're going to be talking about that shortly. So,
I have a couple questions before you move on. Just, going back to the things that are in the APK, social media. How much are you looking at how big my following is, location based, and also like what kind of content? When you go and you look at, my posts and in my platform, like what are you looking for?
Well, I'm not really paying much attention to social media because I know you can buy likes, you can buy followers. I don't know what would believe in. Like I'm going to do my own research, and so what's super useful for me is, getting a general understanding who you are before, I make the connections with you. Like if I get a quick snapshot of your past shows and your upcoming shows and, a couple pictures and, I can see you live, performing live in the videos and stuff. That's more the type of content I'm looking for.
You invest in people and talent. What a concept.
Right. Because, like, it doesn't matter. I have great talents and I make, amazing shows and showcases stuff at software with people that have, 50 followers. But I was blown away by the quality of the music. Number one, it's all about music. So let's remember one thing. We talk about music here. So if the music sucks, I'm sorry. Like I'm very straightforward. If the music sucks, I probably won't book you. It doesn't matter if you have the best APK ever. But if you have absolutely no talent, or and I obviously see it when I'm watching you live, performing live, then that's the end of the road for you. So let me show you a couple, an example of what an APK. Because I think we talked enough about, what should be an APK. Time to share with you what an APK should look like. So let's see. Can you still see my screen? Okay, cool. Did you see the APK by any chance? Okay, so I'm gonna make the video small here. Okay. I was a beard. That's cool. And I'm gonna be putting that somewhere here. Okay, so I took a random APK here, Emerson All Theory. So I can get into detail. You can click here and go directly to this artist that I have sample. Become a fan, I can contact him as well. And then it's all depends on your own configuration, whether or not you're allowing some of those features or not within your APK. You got obviously the bio, the short version, the long version. The quick stats tell you, these guys have 2 playlists, they have 1 blog, 71 images. Curious to see what's in there. 30 video, 1 file. I bet you it's a stitch plot, which is super useful for time buyers, so we don't have to with your email. Oh, gosh, I forgot where that stage club about stuff Emerson guy. Upcoming shows, invitations. That's something that is already done using email newsletter marketing that we have embedded into your press kit, and then audio track. So the type of, it's a band, then the rock genre, he like Jimmy, it's influenced like Jimi Hendrix, link to his social, and link to his website, link to all bands in town, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, and SoundCloud. So that's, and then on top you get all this different audio. So you got audio, the same thing for video. The really cool things, as we were talking about, how easy it is to share. Okay, let me show you something. I won't get too much in detail because we're going to handle social media in a different course. But let's say if I want to handle and share this content, it doesn't matter what it is, audio, video, I can instantly share it to all those social media networks. We did all the pre-work for you. We pre-formatted all those content for you, so you don't have to worry about anything. So videos and gallery. So let's see why you have so many pictures. So Emerson, trio, sure. Yeah, so it's so personal. So you got a ton of show that give me right away, like, these guys been busy, right? And then, shows, upcoming show, you can embed it into bands in town. So we partner with bands in town. So you can follow bands in town, the artists, you can see the upcoming show, apparently it enters the upcoming show. There's only one past show. I don't know what's going on. Maybe disconnected his account with band in town. And then all the other stuff. You can see the number of followers here, blogs. When you write a blog, it will be here. Kind of like, a copy of the newsletter. Playlist, which is kind of interesting. It's great for radio stations. So, for example, I bet you use that combo. That's something it can send. That's a bunch of songs that you think would the radio station we like. So you can send that URL. You can copy that URL on top there, and then send it directly to the radio station. What else? Bundle. You can bundle. I can bundle song. I can bundle album together. I can bundle anything I want. Different offering, if you will, and then file it to what's in there. File is the text block. So I click on it. The same thing. If I want to download it, here, boom, I download it. I got access to my computer here. It's adding here, boom. I got access.
So basically, very important. Stage plot. We call it a writer here. Just make sure that you know and understand that that's a very key thing. If you're in independent artists, you want to have your writer set up so that you don't show up later on in the concert or the venue and you start complaining about
right.
What isn't there.
Right, exactly. And then, they can book, it's going to get automatically, depending on how you decide to be notified. If you want to be notified by email, you want to be notified with platforms, so everything's in, it can do that. I'll show you quickly, not the most exciting, but, that's the configuration, how easy it is. You tell it where you are, you put your genre, you put your bio, the subversion, the non-version. You put your website, your booking manager, his name, your email, all that sort of things directly into the platform, and we do the rest. The notification. How do you want to be notified? Notify when people, your fans attending an event. You want to be notified when you receive a booking request. You want to, So we all about giving as much flexibility as possible to the artist. So that's kind of like the whole purpose of Try.
Yeah. No, great. This has been fantastic. And again, some of you are gonna see this and be like, this is, I get it. It's basic stuff. I haven't became this and that, but I don't think you have something like this. This is something that is truly a portal of your work. Like you can see right then and there everything about you as an artist. And I think it's wonderful because you can send it out. You don't have to say anything. Just send it out, and whatever it is that people are looking for, whether they're trying to book you or they're trying to work with you as a musician or create press about you, all the information is in one place. I like how it's organized.
Mm-hmm.
Myself as a I've been an whole life, and as a producer now, I can tell my artists to utilize this platform. So
Right.
Artists, remember, they're not going to open a PDF. You need to have everything accessible, easy to click, really make it easy for the talent buyers. You want to book more, that's the first thing that you need to do. Absolutely. So Remy, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want to say one thing, that's really important too. Like, there's a lot of artists like, well, I've got a website, I don't need an APK. Well, let me tell you, like, how many times do you update your website? Do you update your website on a daily basis? Probably not. Even the do-it-yourself website. So it's very important to kind of keep the content up to date. You will not believe, people sending me, a booking request with outdated, content. It's such a turn off as a talent buyers. You want to get the freshness, you want to get the up to date, you want to get the latest. What's going on with your job? What's going on with your music? What's going on? Everything. You're selling. It's a pitch. It's your opportunity as an artist. To sell, whether it's a fan, a musical, professional, a talent buyers, or a media outlet. It doesn't matter where it is. And you put it out there. If you have good, high level, good quality content, most likely people is going to be impressed, and you're going to get positive feedback and positive return. So I want to go back to briefly to show you what secretly we've been working on with you guys, because I'm pretty excited about that as well. It's just one slide. Promise we won't start again. That is the last slide about the type of services and the type of workshop we plan and we start working on. So, we have a workshop, how to expand your network, how do you succeed in managing your own booking. That's something we have. I think Rachel and I will be working on it, putting a booking one-on-one, workshop together. And I'm super stoked about it because not only I have a lot of experience booking, but I see over and over the same mistake. How to prepare your first tour? How do you reach out to media outlets? That's a big one too as well. How to protect your music with, through copyright and trademarks? How do you publish your own album? What's that mean? How do you publish your album? How do you self-publish your album? How to manage your social media? That's another big course and workshop we will have going on. We have one that's been very successful is also how you have to manage your YouTube channel. And of course, because we love this software and we attended, and not only attended, but we also hosting showcases every year. How do you survive the first year of software? So it's all like it's a lot, but it's all very useful. It comes really handy, and it's real. It's based on experience, based on what people need the most. And it's not just a bunch of music tech entrepreneur that decided you need an APK or you need to optimize your YouTube channel, for example.
So artists, get over to toontrack.com right now. There's a ton of opportunities. You can start, applying for right away. You can start utilizing these APK tools. Musicentrepreneur.com. We have our whole services section, so you can be able to sign up for these workshops. And
we're back. What did you think about that? Like I told you, Remy and his team are just like coming hard with it. So I think you see that. Now you got the down low, got all the inside scoop from him. Again, he's the master. I think he might be here on the live feed too, so he can tell you how to reach him. I'm glad that you guys think that that's dope, because it is. And there's so much more to come. Like I said, he's just building that out. So they're just getting started.
I want to reemphasize that everything that you're seeing here today, you're going to have access to a channel with all these different, the full videos actually with
some of them are already there right on the YouTube channel.
Exactly. High quality. You won't, if you have any audio issues or anything like that. I think that the stream has been, so far from what I'm seeing, it's been good.
And honestly, I think we just need to be dropping these even beyond what we filmed for the conference. We need to be dropping these weekly because, like I said, I mean, I'm even impressed by the kind of friends that I have. I'm feeling pretty fortunate right now and learning more stuff every day. So we're definitely going to be rolling out even more stuff for you. We've got a special in-house guest that we want to bring on, somebody who actually was in your seat last year. He was a guest for MEcon. And he's going to tell a little bit of a story of how that all came about. But he got the ticket where we got a one-on-one coaching session. And when he told me all about his idea and everything that he was building, we knew we had to work together. And we needed to bring his whole team and his genius into the MEcon family. So
we
actually made him move
the end of the movie
from another country right here to New York City. So here he is, Harrison Lee.
This is why I don't watch movies with her. Just so you know.
Yes. How you doing, my friend?
Good, how are you?
Yes,
What's
I'm
up,
great.
buddy?
So glad to have you here.
Pull up a little bit.
Here, get in here, get in here. He's got his baseball with him as well.
Something
It's like his teddy bear. Okay, keeps him
Keeps him grounded.
keeps him calm.
Yeah.
And move just a little closer. We're gonna be so everyone can see you. So Harrison.
Look, you got fans. Hey, Katie's like, yay.
Yeah, there we go.
Hi, Katie.
Everybody loves Harrison.
Yeah, she's amazing.
So how did you even find MEcon last year?
It's a great question.
And what were you thinking coming into the conference?
These people are nuts. That's the first thing. These Americans.
Or what were you hoping for coming into the conference?
Well, I think especially with COVID, like virtual conferences made things a lot more easier to connect with people. And honestly, if it wasn't for COVID, I probably wouldn't have met everyone. I wouldn't be here, right? And so I think it makes it a lot more accessible. And so I went to a few different ones. A lot of the conferences seemed very much for businesses, not for musicians. So I went to network, as most people do. And I was just learning a lot more about musicians because, we've been around for 4 years now, and we really started to get into musicians and helping them. And I wanted to learn more. And so hearing what some of the people speak and your decades of experience, it just it really resonated. So, I reached out to you guys to do a bit more coaching. And then we ended up kind of working together and building out this education engine. So
So everything you saw there, the super fan funnel, that's Demi, Harrison, Christine, and the whole team behind the scenes building all these really cool tools. And we've got a ton coming up for you this year. I really can't wait, or this upcoming year. So tell everybody a bit about Riff and how that got started.
Yeah, so Riff is a virtual business partner for musicians. We use your audience data, your financial data, and your personality data to help you understand specific steps to help you optimize your growth, whether it's audience or revenue. It really got started because one of my good friends was trying to figure out how to build a business and build his music business. His name's Christian. I don't know if he's watching, he might be, but he's probably the most talented guitar player I've ever met in my entire life. Still to this day.
I have a challenger for him.
But just one of the people I can just listen to something and play it. It's just I never grew up around the music world, so that to me was the coolest thing in the world. I was curious why he couldn't make it in the industry. What was it? What was missing? Why isn't he breaking through? And that seems to be a lot of the common thread for a lot of musicians nowadays. They're super talented, but for some reason they just haven't broken through yet. And so I wanted to dive in. I need to figure out, what was this problem? How can I help him? And funny enough, when I started doing my research, I started talking to a lot of major labels and started realizing that they were using data and machine learning to identify specific variables and specific data points to identify who they should be investing in to increase their ROI, their revenue. So I just thought, I was well, if they're using that for A&R, why don't I just do the same thing, but use it to help inform people and help, coach them on what they need to do to become successful and how do they do it.
In other words, to provide the things that they're looking for.
Exactly. If they're saying that this is going to make you successful, and then we're going to sign people based off of that, then I'm saying, well, why don't we just share all of that with the person to help them understand how they can be successful? And that's kind of how it got started. Kept on working on it, kept on iterating. So now you start seeing the super fan builder. We do a lot of financial coaching as well, helping you identify your top revenue streams based off the type of artist that you are, and so on. So it's really kind of come full circle, and ended up meeting these guys, came to New York, And yeah, it's been really fun.
It's been lots of sleepless nights, a lot of pizza, some FIFA games. All right, video games.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. FIFA
Yes.
here.
A lot of my frustration playing this guy in FIFA for sure.
Yeah, I agree with the latter two. I mean, the first, I actually am very defensive with 8 hours of sleep a night.
Nice.
I'm not big in the. I know that's a common thread for entrepreneurs about 80-hour work weeks, $0 paychecks, working on a garage, and I think that's a terrible way to look at it because you burn out within a year. And I think musicians are entrepreneurs; they should run their own businesses, and if they treated themselves like that, which I think some of them do, then they burn out. So you'd be very defensive on your productivity, on your sleep, and stuff like that. So I had a lot of sleepful nights.
I think we need to do a whole masterclass with this one on productivity, how to schedule your schedule. He's the master at that. But really, you get so much done. You're really efficient. You have great communication with your team, and that's really something super important to get a product moving forward. Now we've got a lot rolling out. We're going to be launching this beta program as well, so that artists can start using the Superfan funnel, can start using some of these different tools. So for those that are watching, what's the next step, and where do we go from here?
Yeah, so because we're working with Music Entrepreneur, so you can go to musicentrepreneur.co, and I think Demir, so we can put the link in the chat. You'll see it in different places, and you go in there, you fill out some forms, because we basically want to understand where you are in your journey. So we ask you some questions: what type of musician you want to be, so on and so forth. And honestly, because especially because you're at the start and we're really starting to bring in artists now, if you get in early, we can really handhold you. Like, you can ask us any questions. We can give you, if you have a song release in 4 or 5 weeks, we can give you the specific steps, the specific tasks that you need, that's optimized for you. So yeah, definitely kind of go on there. And people on my team like Demi, Talua, like, we all want to support artists. Something Demi actually told me last week, which it was awesome. So like, we were chatting, we were really getting into some of the product stuff, and he was like to me, he's like, Harrison, I don't care about making money. I don't care about like the fame or being a unicorn, anything like that. The only thing I care about, is helping artists, like helping artists find ways to succeed. And that's the passion. I loved it. I was like, wow. And that's the same sentiment across the whole team. And that to me is why I love like you guys, but also like people that are in here and these disruptors. Like, that's what they care about. And to me, that's that changes everything.
There's so much money flowing out there in this music industry, and it's just about really figuring out how to funnel a little bit of that more back to the independent artists and labels and agencies. So that's what we're going to be able to do. Demi, who you mentioned, really cool backstory. If you didn't catch it yesterday, he did study music. He studied at Berkeley School of Music as well, in production and engineering, and so has a huge passion for that. And so he's really helping to curate a lot of the educational content and everything that these guys are doing. We're bringing just all sorts of mastery from all over the industry and using data to really take all of their strategy and put it right in your fingertips.
He literally works with the people that run Def Jam, the people that that run artist development and data insights at Warren. Like, he works with these people that run like the biggest musicians in the world. He takes all that information and he puts it he creates these timelines. He builds these anyway. So if you're looking to build yourself like for these top artists, I mean, he's the person to talk to, and like that's the platform to go, because he's literally taking it from them and putting it into the.
And Demi hosts every week as well, office hours. So you can just hop right on a call with him, ask any questions. And again, I'm going to keep saying this, like, we're here for you. So we need to know who you are, what you're doing, where you need help with. And we want to get to know you better so that we can really support you, because that's what this is all about.
I want to say this. Those of you that are right now that I see you in the chat, listen, somewhere along the line, there's somebody else that that needs to see and hear this information. You got a cousin, you got somebody, so just share this live, talk right here. I think that you're going to get a lot out of it. And of course, more importantly, write down the websites that we're giving you, write down some of the resources we're giving you, and just ask questions. If you have any questions about anything you're seeing here or anybody that we announce. Some people, we're not going to get to put everybody on today, but we're definitely going to have all the videos up for you can watch. And we're going to attempt to do this a little bit more often now that we've got some things sorted out. And I think that that's the fun part about it. This is about continuing to build the community and continuing to enjoy and have fun in the process. You know, it doesn't matter that sometimes things don't go according to plan. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you stay persistent.
So another team who loves supporting artists and really wanted to just completely change a model that's in the industry that not too many artists are very happy with, which is streaming, right? And so this guy who's coming up
Well,
next,
wait a minute. I like getting paid 0.000000437 cents per stream.
How many streams do you need to buy a sandwich?
Only about
maybe
12.5 million. Just about.
So Randy has totally changed that. We're really excited because also with Me Ventures, our new venture fund that is coming to you very shortly. This is one of our premier candidates because we just see that he's really going to be able to put money in the hands of artists. With just 2,000 super fans, you can make a full-time career just from this one platform. So let's take it over to Randy, and I want you guys to learn more about Coda Music.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Randy, welcome to MEcon. Thank you so much for joining us today. You know, we couldn't have made this whole program possible without you, without Coda Music. So we just appreciate how much, you know, you're going above and beyond to stand up for artists and to really help, you know, create true businesses, you know, for artists long term and just solve some of these problems in the industry, because we know that artists are not very happy with a few companies out there in the streaming space, without naming any names. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Definitely want to just jump right into it. Tell us a bit about Coda and how this came about.
Sure. So Coda is a DSP service. We're a fully licensed, fully cataloged, available in North America. Hopefully, roughly, we're thinking around April 1st should be our launch date. So we're pre-launch phase now. So you want to think about all the big streaming companies out there, which you wouldn't name, but I'll name: Spotify, Apple, Tidal, Deezer, companies like that. And what we're looking to do differently is we're actually looking to create a DSP service that properly services and pays artists for the work that they're putting in. The streaming model has really taken an odd shape since its inception. It's sort of the music industry from the pirating days of the late 90s, but in the process of doing so, a lot of people got left behind. And so that's really the focus of Coda Music. It is our mission to get artists paid fairly for their art, and so I couldn't think of a better forum to participate in than this one.
So where did this idea even come from? I see a little neck of a guitar behind you there. So I know that you've been passionate about music your whole life, but it's not like you came from the music industry. Your last company was actually in sports. I definitely have lots of questions for you, just, you know, as an entrepreneur in general, but why music streaming?
Really, as a fan, it's my passion. It was mainly, at first, it was born out of a frustration from the services that I use. Like everyone else, I use all the same services that everyone else uses. I was getting frustrated by the lack of music discovery tools. I was finding myself listening to the same thing, getting into ruts. So one minute I'd turn to Pandora for radio or Sirius XM for radio. Great listening experiences all around. I'm not here to really trash any of them, but I thought I could do better, frankly. I thought we could create a better music service that wasn't so top down. I never liked the pure radio aspect of broadcast radio. I felt like it was being spoon fed to the masses, and I have fairly eclectic taste, as I think most people do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really born out of trying to deliver simply better music for people. And the way we thought about this problem, me and my co-founder, were just core problem solvers, whether we're applying that into sport or music, was I missed the days of going to the record store, ultimately then the CD store, etc., buying physical media, interfacing with the staff that work there, talking to the other people shopping there, getting recommendations from human beings and from people based on, oh, I know they like this style of music. I overlap here and there with these bands. Let me get some recommendations from them. And I was the guy that would walk out with a stack of CDs like this, 200 pounds lighter in the pocket. And I just missed that time. And so the way we engineered Coda was to bring that social aspect back into music. So we operate a little bit like a dating service, and where we're finding users with like-minded taste, matching them on our platform, and then it's all user-generated content. One user recommends music for another user who recommends it for 50 more. That's the core concept of it, and we couldn't be more excited.
So artists really have the potential, you say, to earn up to 3 times as much money on this platform, actually earn residual income, which is a huge game changer as well. Walk us through a little bit about what that experience is like, and how, just with, 2,000 super fans, could someone really generate a living?
Yeah, it's really a complete hack of the math of the industry. We can actually improve the income level 500 times from the current provider. So
We like that.
The key here is, if you're getting paid on a per stream basis, which is how all of the current models work. If it's a subscription service, you're getting paid per stream. If it's a free service, you're getting paid as a function of how much advertising dollars they can bring into the service. It's just a losing battle for the vast majority of artists. Less than 2% of artists on Spotify are making more than $50,000 a year. However, Spotify is valuated at over $72 billion. So they're absolutely riding the creative wave of all of the emerging artists and all the talent that's out there that's not able to make a living off of their own art. So we flipped this math around. So we said, okay, the per stream model, the math just simply doesn't work. If you're going to get paid a fraction of a cent per stream, that means in order to just make $50,000, and that's without cuts going to managers or bandmates or writers or whomever, you have to generate 13 million streams. And then you have to keep that number up year after year. So you have to constantly be pumping out new music to try and keep that number up. With Coda, you can earn the same $50,000 from just 2,000 fans. And the way that we do that is we profit share. So the basic math of the industry, I don't know how deep you want to go here, $10 subscription, $7 of that $10 is going back out to the labels and to the publishers. Okay, we can't impact that part of the equation. That's baked into the cake. Okay, people, you still need your labels, you need your publishers. This is what makes the industry go. These are important functions. We're focusing on the DSP side, the $3 that gets left behind. And what we do with that is we take 2 of those $3 and we put it right back into the pockets of the artist. We can operate our company on just 1 of the $10 that ultimately flows through our system.
Mm-hmm.
So by putting $2 back into the hands of artists, you're able to earn a recurring $2 per month as an artist on our system. $2 a month, 2,000 fans makes an income of $48,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And I just love the fact that you guys are really being transparent about where the money goes, what you're keeping, what you're giving. I mean, that in itself is, is definitely a big game changer. And so, on the back end as well, we've talked a lot about this. In this whole conference, we're really driving home the super fan model, right? How are you going to help artists, or have you guys thought about this, kind of on the back end of the type of, data and information that you're going to give to artists about their fans, how they can connect with them, Do you feel like you guys are really bringing some big advantage there?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's one of the things we've heard most. So we're now in the process of partnering with artists and with artist management teams and listening to some of the struggles that they're having as they're trying to monetize their brand. And the lack of data that they're given is really unacceptable, in our opinion. So we truly embrace a partnership model with our artists. So every subscriber that's on Coda Music will be brought to us through an artist, ultimately to a super fan. And so that fan and that subscriber, we don't own that subscriber as Coda Music. We co-own and share everything about that user, not just monetarily, where $2 of the $3 will go back into the hands of the artist, but also all of the data. So you want your listening data, some of the basics you can get from the providers today. How about emails and contact information?
Yes.
We're gathering all of this information. Why wouldn't we share that with our partners?
Right.
Really? It makes sense. The only difference here, the
That's
only thing we're
drive more listening, drive more engagement, drive more fans. You think it'd be a no-brainer. Yeah.
in that data however you want. You want to know where your fans are in a certain geography, who's listening to certain tracks here. Maybe you're getting ready to, do a road show. You need this information to know how to target and generate fans where you go, so you can make money off your live shows as well. We want to give every tool we have at our disposal that's within our ability to give to the artists. We're going to be an open book. We want them to have access to it.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing that I love about Coda, and that everyone's having the opportunity to meet with someone who's key to the Coda family, is Rob Cole, who's one of the top TikTokers and just most successful social media influencers. And he's bringing all the education, and you guys are really driving, just that growth from the inside out, and helping artists not just figure out how to be successful on your platform, but how to really be successful in their overall ecosystem and maximize their social media. So I think that's, definitely going to go so far with people.
Yeah, we couldn't be happier to have Rob on board. We're going to be accepting applications starting in January for our emerging artist program. And the concept behind this is we're going to be ramping on between 50 and 100 artists every month, walking them through a 4-month plan, of which Rob will be spearheading the social aspect of it. And the goal is to move artists from a position to financial independence. Okay, so there's multiple layers to get people there. One of the steps, just one of the things that an artist needs to think about and accomplish, is to boost your socials. It's not everything in the world, but it's an important step. And if you boost your socials with actual fans, we're not talking just sort of buying fans or getting Insta followers through methods of people that aren't actually fans. But once you connect with actual super fans, actually drive a fan base through your socials, we will then teach you how to convert them into paying subscribers on Coda, which can again earn you up to $2 every month for every person that you're able to convert. Rob's an essential part of that plan.
How cool is that? So I'd love for everyone to be able to see the platform. Can you give us a little sneak peek of what's coming?
Sure. Start with the back end a little bit, if I can figure out how to share my screen here. You can edit this, but seriously, how do I share my screen? Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, so you able to see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so what you see here, this is going to be available to every artist in the world. I don't care if you have 5 fans or 50 million. Okay, and I don't care if you have a manager or if you're going it alone. It doesn't matter. To us,
start somewhere. You can still be the next superstar.
If you want to work with us, you will come in, you'll get onboarded and live and active. Think of it like an Uber service, right? But this is Uber for artists and getting you paid in real time, generating you income immediately. So you sign in with us, and the first thing we're going to bring you to is your moneymaker screen. So these are your social campaigns that you have run. and we're giving you quick performance statistics to see how you're doing. You can run multiple campaigns with us. You can have artist management teams who may have multiple artists under their view sign in and get access for actually, a number of different artists that are under their purview. And you can drill in and look at this by location, by date range, by specific artist. If you're an individual artist, your name would just show up here. The idea is maybe you've created an Instagram campaign, a Twitter campaign, a Facebook campaign, etc. All of this is meant to bring your super fans to choose Coda as their DSP service so that you can earn a living off of your art. That's the call to action. So you can come in here and you can have a campaign going in roughly 20 seconds. And I'll walk you through how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You go right here to create your link. If you're a management team and you need to select multiple artists, maybe I'll do one for the Roots here. Give your campaign a name, and boom, you've got that. You copy it, you drop it into your socials, and anyone who clicks on that link now in your socials, that customer is now your customer. Okay, so now owning that customer and that customer relationship through their life cycle on the platform. First, you'll be gifting them a free 30-day trial of the software. If that trial, so that gets you a link click and generating a free trial. If they ultimately convert into a subscriber, they now show up in your subscriber section. Remember the emails we were talking about? We're going to give you, you can export these emails out and do whatever you like with them. Giving you some quick statistics here so that you get a sense for how your campaigns are performing. This is an art. This is what Robbie will be here to help people do. This is what he does for a living. Once you have your subscribers in and you have a fan base on the platform, you want to get a sense for how your music is performing on there, how many streams you're generating. We will still pay per stream. In fact, we pay the highest rate in the industry per stream as a new DSP. It just so happens out of your $48,000 income, only about $1,000 of it comes from streams. The vast majority of it is coming through our profit sharing. You want to know how many listeners you have? We haven't talked about this yet, Rachel, but we have built-in tipping in our platform. So if you have a new release pushed out on a Friday, say you've got 10,000 fans already on the platform, what a nice near space target to say, hey, support my new track. People are listening to your new track, one press of a button, they can send $1 your way. Okay, so you can tips and then just use user and fan engagement here on likes. And then true to our promise, we're going to pay you immediately. You're not waiting 60, 90 days to get a $30 check for streaming, right? Instead, as we receive income, we will be paying on net 30 back out to the artist. That money will be in your hands as fast as it could possibly be. So this really becomes a command center for an artist to run their own art as a business. I think I lost you there.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, we're back.
Okay. Would you like to shift over and see a little bit of the app?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'll just bring it up here on the side. Okay, so this is our Coda Music app. And the thing to notice here, excuse me, everything on our system, as I think I mentioned at the outset of our conversation, is driven by fans. Okay, so all of the music that's being played for me has been sourced by a fan who has similar taste as me. Okay, it's not being driven by a playlist kingmaker of sorts where people may oftentimes pay to try and get their music up on these playlists, and this person's just raking in money, picking winners and losers. That's now how it works for us. This is truly democratized music. So if I go through here, we have this concept of profiles. Okay, now every user in our system, whether you're an artist or if you're a fan, you have the same rights in our system. Everyone's a creator in our system. Artists obviously are bringing music to the table. Fans bring curation to the table. Okay, and artists can also be fans and can also be curators. We're really mixing these things together. So if I want to just take a look at my Snoop Dogg page, we're going to do a few really interesting things. First thing you'll notice here is that we're tying all of his different social platforms right here inside of the DSP service. So I don't have to pop in and out of the app. If I want to see something that he tweeted, I could just tap his Twitter. Boom, I'm going to be on Snoop Dogg's Twitter page or his TikTok page or Insta or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
The other interesting thing is Snoop can share playlists with his fans. Okay, so we get a brand new type of fan engagement, whether I'm an influencer or an artist or just a fan, a super fan, wanting to create my own following as a curator. I can do that on here as well. So different playlists can be created and shared. Snoop can make his own radio stations as well. And those will all be driven based on his personal taste in music. The radio stations will be driven by that and accessible to all of his fans. Any song that he likes will immediately be shared on here, okay, by the simple action of a thumbs up. And then he can even recommend albums to his fans that he thinks that they should be listening to. And he can get a real deep insight into the type of music, that he likes. And this is a sort of data that we're using to match users together with one another to ultimately crowdsource the listening experience. So it's these user profiles that ultimately power everything at the end of the day with our system. And then the other thing I'd like to show you quickly is when you're listening on Coda Music, it's an interactive experience. You're not just sort of sitting back being spoon-fed music by paid curators. You're listening along with other people. So let's say I'm in a mood for indie rock at the moment. I can tap on that genre. And what I'm going to see when I get in here now is the indie rock community. Okay, so these are all fans of indie rock on our platform. We're all bouncing music off of each other in real time. So anytime I'm listening to a song and I click that thumbs up, it's going to get pushed to potentially hundreds or thousands of these community pages. Community pages are around genres or artists or groups of fans, however you want to do it. Okay, so right here, this becomes a real-time living playlist or radio station for me, completely driven by other users. And then you'll recognize a lot of the social features in here. If I like this post for this person, I can like it, I can repost it, I can share it outside of the system. If maybe I want to see who this user is, I can tap, boom, there's that user profile again. I can choose to follow, just like a social application. So we've really merged concepts of social networking and music streaming into one place.
Yeah, fans are going to love this. People who are really on these platforms, like you said, I don't have to now, no longer do I have to just be this passive consumer. Whatever you want to promote in front of me. I love the recommendations. That's what I used to love back in the day about, Pandora was just all the music discovery. I don't want to hear the same, A-list artists all the time. And just to have the freedom now to really be able to express myself, engage in a different way, share, what I'm listening to with my friends. I'm always so curious to know what other people are listening to. This is going to be an incredible platform. You guys all got to get on there because listen.
Yeah, we put it on pause.
Fans,
we put it on pause. You're going to be able to see the whole video again. You're going to be able to see more on that later. And you're obviously going to be able to be one of the people that signs up earlier than everybody else.
Yes, get on their waiting list, get to their community. We're going to make sure to get the website over to you. But you see what I'm saying? If you're an influencer, you've got friends, this is residual income. When you get people over onto that platform, you're going to be able to make $1 per person every single month. Then on top of that, they're going to take $1 out of the 10 that people are paying each month for that subscription to allow us to tip artists. That you're going to get 100% of all that tipping revenue that's made. So I just love everything that they're bringing to us to be able to utilize, and then all the analytics on the back. So we're getting to work directly with Randy and the team to design what that back office is going to be like. So we want you to have all the information of who's listening to you, who are your super fans. This is going to be another way to get that info. And if you have other ideas that you've always wanted to tell Spotify or Apple Music or any of those other companies, this is your chance to be a part of that development. So make sure to send us your ideas. We're going to get it to that Coda team. And again, thank you so much for Coda sponsoring this event, just all your support for music entrepreneurs around the world. We're going to do our best to make your company the biggest success and the biggest brand out there for music, because we know that you've actually built this platform for us. So thank you so much for that. So of course, another incredible company. We're going to go to John or Brandon.
Is Brandon on there?
Let's see. Yeah. So another great company. Oh, we got to give it a couple more minutes. So we're going to head right over to John Washp. Love saying his last name. Never know how to pronounce it. But he's the founder and CEO of Nerve, which is banking made for artists. Okay. Banking. A whole banking system that is designed just for you. So you guys see what this guy is doing. They just launched the company. We're so thrilled about it. We're going to help get them connected to all the top companies that you use. And this is your opportunity again to really be a part of this. So I think we need to go ahead here.
You know what I'm thinking? This is going to be kind of cool because I just came up with this idea right now. I'm going to pull up. By the way, you guys can go to nerve.pro. You guys can do that right now. You can get a whole bunch of information. Wait a minute. Don't leave this. Just open another tab. Okay, people, come on. And the point is that what I want to do first is that I want to play the commercial. I think it's super cool. I think it's super cool. I think you're going to get it. And I think that'll give you a little perspective. And yeah. Hold on, let me do that first. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna play the commercial first. I think that's gonna be really, really cool for you to see. And this way you'll understand like why I'm so excited about this. I wish growing up as a young artist, I would have had something like this, because I always had issues opening bank accounts, keeping tabs of where my money was coming from, whenever it was coming. So I think that this is something that you've never seen before as an app. And I think this is going to change your perspective as to how banking is done in 2021 for an artist. So let me go ahead and feed you that right now. There you go. All right. So
Come on, you see what we're saying? I mean, that looks pretty cool, huh?
yeah, it's an incredible application. So what we're gonna do is just play a couple of minutes, just introducing John, who's the founder of this incredible app, and he'll tell you a little bit just as to why he created the app, and that's it. I mean, we'll let you if you want to see more of that later on. You guys again can always see the video later, but this is just a little introduction as to who John is and why he started this whole thing. All right. Let's see. Mm-hmm.
John,
Hey, yeah.
what's up?
He has the funnest last name.
I know, I love saying that. That's amazing.
I say 17
Oh, that's
different
fine.
ways,
We
but
can hear somebody else too. She can.
I'll respond to all of them. You know, I'm used to it at this point.
Oh my gosh! Welcome to MEcon. Thanks so much for taking the time here. You know, we're so excited about everything that you're doing. With Nerve Bank, artists can finally get paid faster, easier. Companies aren't going to be wasting so much money on all of these fees.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that I don't have to give up my DNA and my like all kinds of things just to get a bank
Just
account?
to get paid?
What are you talking about?
It is wild, right? Yeah.
Being made for artists. I love it. John, tell us a little bit about your background. Where did this concept come from? How did this come about?
How did you decide this was a problem that obviously needed to be solved?
Thank you. To be honest, it actually, I guess the story starts quite a long time ago. Late '90s. I was trying to put myself through school and had conned myself into thinking that if I could just be a good enough DJ, I could pay for school. And turned out I'm not a very good DJ, but I fell in love with the music and in particular, what I kind of stumbled into is this world of music that was recorded by artists at some point in history. And for one reason or another, that music was never actually released. So it kind of kicked off a lifelong passion of mine that was about trying to find this music that was recorded on acetates or reels, and then moving that music over, and then trying to find the artists and the rights holders and connect them all to figure out how perhaps they could make money from their music. And
so you became James Cameron and went deep sea fishing.
Pretty much.
Got it.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I certainly, feel a little bit like Indiana Jones at times, and thankfully, I've developed by this point a really amazing network of people who are, the deepest of deep sea divers when it comes to this stuff. But yeah, so that's been a passion of mine for a long time, and during, as you can imagine, it's kind of an expensive hobby, and so in order to help pay those bills, for the last 15 or 20 years, I've been in financial technology. So I started effectively what that is, just helping people manage their money through technology, right? Whether that's just different types of banking services. And so my path there started about 15 or 17 years ago, and that's been a lot of fun, and had a couple of exits along the way. And really what Nerve is the combination of those two passions of effectively managing money through technology, and then as well in creating access to people in new ways for banking, and then also, of course, music and helping artists manage their money better. And so Nerve is, the way it looks today is it's a super easy to get banking product for musicians and for music creators, for DJs, for rappers, for songwriters, anybody who gets paid in the music industry.
What were the biggest challenges that you were seeing that you thought, okay, we need a better way?
I'm here on the site, by the way, checking out some of the. I mean, it's incredible. So first of all, give them the website so that they know where to find you.
Yeah, so you can find us at nerve.pro, nerve.pro. And normal people kind of take a double take. They're like, wait a second, there's a .pro now? Yeah, there's a everything now. nerve.pro is how you get there.
All right. So, yeah, again, that was just a little bit of John, who founded the company, Nerve Bank, Nerve.pro. Go to the website, check out everything about it. You saw the commercial. I don't have to explain it to you. You see how brilliant, how genius this is. You can get all of your royalties, all of your social media stuff converted into one place where you can monetize and bring that money in. Can you believe that? I mean, you'll have a card just like any bank card. This is crazy. I don't even know what to say about it. This is just genius. If you haven't taken a look at it, go download it. And by the way, this is not something that's coming soon. This is out now. You can download it on the App Store, and yeah, it's fantastic. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, from the first moment that I saw it, I knew that this was going to be something huge, game changer for the industry. So we're so excited. Thanks, John, for everything that you've done for the artists. So we really appreciate it. And someone else who's doing a ton of stuff for artists is a man who is running some of the biggest shows, biggest concerts in all of the industry.
What is the biggest company doing concerts in the industry? Let's start with that.
Mm-hmm.
Live Nation.
Yep, sure is.
So here we have them, man, or one of the people really in charge of Live Nation Urban. This guy is really helping things push along. But the thing is that when you think of major companies like this, you never ever associate them, with doing something for the up and coming people, for the independent artists. And I think that what's great about Brandon is that he really cares about the next generation of artists and really providing opportunities, and is bringing that culture and that way of thinking to the bigger company.
Yep. So, number one, if you think Live Nation Urban is someone that you want to get in touch with, a stage that you should be on, if you think Brandon should be hearing your music, definitely shoot us an email. Send us some links to your stuff. We'd be happy to pass it along. This guy is just like super humble, super cool. The whole Live Nation Urban team, we've been so grateful to have all of their support, and we're going to be growing with them throughout 2022. They're going to be also developing a lot of the educational curriculum in our platform with Riff. So we've got a ton coming there, and just super cool people. So Brandon, also, I love his journey because he really started from the bottom in the industry as an intern. He wanted to just find a way, and all these years he's, grown all the way up to being a VP of one of the biggest companies. So that's possible for you. I know there's a lot of people watching who also, are in different professions, different industries, and you want to know how can you really make your way, through the industry. And I think Brandon's story will inspire you that it's possible for anyone. So with that,
without further ado, is that what you're saying?
Here we go. Yes.
All right.
Hey, Brandon. Thanks so much for being with us today. Welcome to MEcon, your first MEcon.
Hey.
It's my first, will not be my last. I'm excited to be here. Thank you both for having me.
Excited. It's always great. When we meet someone, first of all, we met you a few months ago, and just the connection was just instant. You are somebody that is actually making a difference for the independent artist, believe it or not. And the funny thing about it is, and we talked about it from the very beginning, is that people won't usually associate your company with doing anything for independent artists or thinking about our independent artists as a whole. But I think that you have come into that and changed that, like the way that you operate. You're changing that as far as the culture in your company. So I love that.
No, for sure. I mean, here's what I'll say. I think sometimes the bigger corporations, get sort of a bad reputation on certain things. But, Live Nation Urban, we're really about making sure that we expand, musicianship in general. So that will have to include independent artists who aren't necessarily getting opportunities elsewhere. And so for our shows, we want to make sure they're opening up. We want to create digital extensions for them to, we have Live Nation Urban has something called Blackstream Live, where we've had a ton of emerging artists over the course of 2021 perform on Twitch weekly, really getting their voice out there and getting their artistry out there. So it's something that I'm absolutely committed to, and something that I think, the company is committed to as well.
Well, not to put you on the spot or anything, but I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of artists that are great artists that are watching this right now, and they're thinking like, me. So at some point we got to create some kind of either maybe a submission or something through, Music Entrepreneur, and, just giving someone else an opportunity in our community to perhaps perform and be a part of your platform.
Done. I mean, there's a show that we had that's an extension of our Roots Picnic Festival in Philadelphia called Road to Roots Picnic. We can make that episode, the Music Entrepreneur episode. We have a couple of artists that are brought forward because of you two. And be clear, let me backtrack. The work that you two are doing is absolutely phenomenal. And, when we met, it was October, I believe. It was just amazing to meet you both and really hear your vision and your passion about what you're doing. So that's why I'm here, because of you two and the work that you do. So before you talk about anything I do, kudos, all of the great stuff. Really
and the team too. We couldn't do it without Harrison and all the cool things that the Rift team is building to really just we always knew that it couldn't just be one conference throughout the year. We really need that ongoing support. We're all entrepreneurs here. We know it takes a village. It takes constant education, just trial and error and all of that. So I'm really excited to see everything that we're going to roll out next year and how we're really going to just take artists through that ecosystem. So thank you so much for that. And, I'd love to take people back just a little bit, set the stage. How did you get here? Did you always know that you were going to, work for this company, be, working with artists in this way? And I see something so cool that I'm really curious to know, is this destined to achieve successful heights? That I think is so cool. And it seems like that's something that you stand for.
For sure. So we're going all the way back. I always knew that I was going to be in the entertainment industry. I was probably about 10 or 11, and I was reading, slightly dating myself because, but I had subscriptions to The Source and to Vibe magazine. And, when I was reading those things, I wasn't necessarily reading for the artists. I was reading about, Puff and Russell Simmons and Jay-Z, and like, oh, they're not only owning record labels, but they have restaurants, they have clothing lines. Like, okay, this is what it takes to be a mogul. I want to be that. I want to be a mogul.
Music entrepreneur.
I want to be a music entrepreneur. And I should have said, I should have plugged it first. But I knew early on that that's what I wanted to do. And, when I was in high school, through some parties, so I started getting into that space a bit. And then in college, I was very fortunate to, one of my professors was at the time, and again, dating myself, he was vice president at AOL. And he, he was like, took a liking to me. I presented him this big business plan that I had about, my record label and my clothing line and my restaurant. And he was like, okay, I'm going to get you an internship, and got me an internship at MTV. And at the time, they were just launching their satellite radio department. And so one of the things that I'll say to anybody listening here that really wants to get in this industry, I had no interest in satellite radio at all. But it's important that you start to understand different facets of the industry, whether you have an interest or not. You say, I want to be a manager, and that's great, but also learn everything else, because it'll help you become a better manager. For all of the independent artists, learn different facets of this industry so you can understand music publishing, understand what it takes to market an album, understand, what promotions is, because promotions isn't necessarily marketing. That's going out to the radio stations, for certain genres, that's still important. And going out to DSPs, digital service providers. such as Spotify, Apple, etc. Title. So interned for satellite radio department at MTV, and then out of college, started interning for a music management company in Philadelphia. And at the time, they managed Music Soul Child and a few of other producers and songwriters. So there, I thought I was going to learn about being an A&R or a songwriter. And the two co-founders said, no, we just recently went to a funeral. And the minister there, preacher said, when you're born, there's a date. When you die, there's a date. What does that dash in the middle represent? And so they said, we want to create a music education program called DASH, but we don't know what the DASH stands for. So we need you to research and come up with the name and really develop this program for us. And that's what I did. I came up with Destined to Achieve Successful Heights out of that. And really myself and the two co-founders, Michael McAuliffe and Jerome Hips, who are still managers and A&Rs to this day, wanted to give back and really teach young people about the business of music at the time. Because everybody, knows what it's like to be a rapper or singer or understands what it's like to be an actor. But guess what? You can be a lighting designer on a tour and make $3,000, $3,500 a week on an arena level tour. You can be the monitor engineer. And the monitor engineer is an audio engineer, but you're controlling the in-ears or what the artist hears on stage. There are two different types of audio engineers. There's a monitor engineer and there's a front of house engineer who's helping you helping the crowd get the best sound possible. So there are multiple jobs, and that's only 3 of about 50 that I'm naming, outside of the tour manager, production manager, etc. We wanted to teach kids about that. And so
amazing.
That first summer, we had about 25 kids from the school district come through the studio, the recording studio. And we brought in songwriters, producers, brought in A&Rs, brought in web developers just to teach them about different facets of the industry. And the next part of the story, which I don't think either of you know, I don't think, we then had an opportunity to receive a planning grant from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to start a small high school in Philadelphia. So we expanded upon the curriculum, took that grant money, and really built a high school curriculum, not just around the business of music, but the business of sports and the business of mass media. So it expanded our entire program to the business of entertainment overall. Then at the time, the superintendent in the school district put a freeze on charter schools. So we took that curriculum and then developed after school programs. And now we're in schools, around Philadelphia and Baltimore, teaching students like it's a part of their grade now. We bring in, Grammy Award winning producers and songwriters, myself and others, and we teach them about different facets of, entertainment. We'll bring in sports agents, if we're talking about sports, we'll bring in different people who are experts in their craft and really build, their knowledge in this with the goal that, we can provide internship opportunities in Philadelphia or Baltimore for these young people who all they need is access, particularly, you think about multicultural young folks, access is something that you don't necessarily have. And I think it's so important and critical that we provide that. So that's the DASH component of it. I didn't even, yeah, man, do you want me to get into the career, like the other part of it, the day job of it as well?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
We'd love that.
Okay, cool. So backtrack, while we're continuing DASH, those two co-founders, it was great to be working on DASH, but I was interning still, and internships generally do not pay. And I said, guys, I need a couple of dollars, and so their business manager at the time needed an assistant. And his name is Sean G. And so I interviewed with this gentleman and I became his assistant for a company called the Sports Entertainment Financial Group. And again, going back to what I talked about earlier, it's important not to put yourself in a box. I had no interest in being a business manager, managing the finances for artists and athletes. I was more on the creative side. I wanted to be more creative. But finance is the center of this industry, no matter what we're talking about. And, at the time, we were managing the finances for Kanye West and The Roots and Jill Scott. And it was an opportunity for me to really dive into the touring side of it, which is something that I really grew into. And so, you know, in 2009, we brought on Young Money, and I was managing the touring for Lil Wayne, these arena tours. And he assigned 2 young artists at the time. There was an artist named Aubrey Graham and another artist named MEcon Minaj. And so from, you know, 250 size capacity rooms, like small clubs, I was working with Drake, you know, as he continued to ascend from a touring side, you know, managing his touring business. And that was just super critical, right? Because again, with someone like that, and what we did on the artist management side with the Roots and Jill Scott, you know, I'm also learning about music publishing. I'm learning about sponsorships. I'm learning about marketing and different facets of the industry. In 2014, the company I worked for partnered with the management company for Wayne and Kanye and Drake, and it all got rolled up under and purchased by Live Nation to be one of the management arms under Maverick, which became the world's largest artist management company. And my role shifted to become the director of touring and business development for Maverick. So working with those artists, but also working with G-Eazy and T.I. and a lot of emerging artists at the time. And then one of the partners who I worked for as his assistant, Sean G, went and said I wanted to start Live Nation Urban in 2017 and really super serve, you know, demographics focusing on rap, hip hop, R&B, and gospel. And so Live Nation Urban was formed. And so he brought me in to run business development and operations in 2017. But that journey, you know, business management, artist management, and now on the promoter side. And so that knowledge base, you know, was really like holistic. And then including the nonprofit world, you know, we're talking about destined to achieve successful heights. I just felt like a little like a robot, like just soaking in all of this knowledge and information. And it, you know, really allowed me to focus on my own sort of entrepreneurial pursuits that I'm currently doing now. So it's been an amazing journey. And,
Wow.
you know, I feel like I still have a lot to do.
I love hearing that. I love hearing the story, and I love the fact that you were willing to learn. You know, one of the biggest things that I ever learned in my life was learn how to learn. So if you can be humble enough to say, you know what, I think I'm gonna just jump into this head on, give it my all, learn as much as I can, and bring value. Then they find value in you, and then you begin to get these opportunities, right? That allow you to be where you are. It's incredible.
Nah,
A
absolutely.
question that I have, you know, in that learning process, you know, and in this incredible journey that you've had, and achieving, you know, these successful heights, there comes a lot of challenges. Sometimes we learn things the hard way as well, right? I want to know, what have some of the challenges been for you, and how do you get through those challenges? I'm sure, you know, every day we're still learning, we're still growing, we're trying to achieve new things.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we run into those roadblocks. We take ourselves into, you know, outside of our comfort zone. So, you know, we really like to speak at MEcon about those fears, about those challenges, about the tough times, and
Overcoming
how
the
people
mental
get
part.
through it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
overcoming the mental part of it. You know.
Yeah. You know what? There's something that, you know, on panel discussions and discussions like this in general that people don't talk about a lot that I want to touch on, because when we're talking about challenges, it's not necessarily the work, you know, because it's A plus B will equal C when it comes to work. If you do your job, if you're willing to learn, as Jalen stated, have a passion for learning, ultimately you're going to be successful. It's sort of those interpersonal relationships outside of work that I think lead to a lot of challenges. And that's family, that's friends, that's romantic relationships. Because this job, I've said it to people all the time, it's like being on call like a doctor without the salary a lot of the times, but it's like being on call, you know, like a doctor. And it takes away from a lot of, I would say, a lot of life experiences that I've missed or delayed upon, or even a simple vacation, which can lead to, you know, resentment, or sometimes family not understanding why you're not at this particular event, or, you know, really putting strains on, you know, romantic relationships that you may be in, you know, as well. So I think with this job, I think it's important to realize, you know, you have to be all in on this. You know, and whether you're a musician or whether you're, on the business side and growing to be an executive, this is something that it isn't for the weak at heart. I say that and I mean that. You have to be dedicated to it, because there's going to be a lot of stumbling blocks, a lot of times where things may take longer, than you think they should take. And it's going to take away from the time that you can commit to things outside of this. And so I would argue, we talk about a work-life balance. I like to just call it a life balance, because work should be a part of it. But ultimately, you really have to juggle and make choices that maybe you wouldn't want to make, ordinarily if you were working a 9 to 5, because this is not a 9 to 5 business at all.
Yeah.
And do you have any other, recommendations like for, partners, parents, how to really communicate that to, to your family, to your friends, of just, the pressure and the time frame, right? I mean, as entrepreneurs, like, we gave up our 9 to 5 to work 24/7. And yeah, relationships sometimes do suffer, but do you have any recommendations for people on how you go about doing that?
Yeah, I would say the biggest recommendation is sort of a mind frame, and it's treating creative professions the same way you treat all of the other professions out there, because it's easier. I would argue people don't care as much when you say you're a doctor, or care as much when you say you're a lawyer. But when you say first of all, people are like, well, wait, you're going to be a musician, because the likelihood of success, when you look at it overall, the percentage may not be super high. People look at it like, maybe treat this as a hobby. Don't do this, full time. So that's already creating a negative impact, between that particular person and who you are as a creative. So the biggest step would be treat this like you would treat any other job, because it is what the person is passionate about. We find ways to just, I don't know why it's subconscious or whatever, to take away the passion of people, like something that people love. If I want to do this and I'm all in on this, support me, because I've supported you being, fill in the blank at whatever company that you're at, support me in this, because it's super important that we have that level of support, in this industry, because this industry, again, if I'm working 24 hours a day, I need to know that someone has my back, when I have that hour or have that time to dedicate elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. And go ahead.
No, I kind of wanted to shift gears a little bit. And we'll come back to this in a minute again, because the mindset is so important, and
Sure.
this is obviously one of the most important reasons why we wanted you to be a part of this journey, because people might look at you being in the company that you're in, and be like, well, he's set, he's good, he's got blah blah blah, but there's so many challenges. So that's a whole another thing that we want to touch. But in the meantime, let me get my artist on and ask you, like, if I was to be, like, in that moment in my career where I feel like, I'm competing, I'm doing my thing, I got a nice little following, in my region, I got shit popping, how do I get myself to be noticed by some of the programs you've got to get me on stage? So
Yeah.
those of you that are watching right now, just pretend it's you asking that question, because I know that ultimately that's what you want to know. How do I get myself on your stage?
You need to, so if you have a buzz in your local market, more than likely there is a local promoter or booker. A booker basically is someone that's going out to hire you to perform, for at a particular venue in a particular market. There's someone that probably already notices you, but if they don't notice you, you need to be reaching out to local venues. And this may sound like hyperbole, but damn near daily. Like, give them your electronic press kit, your EPK, that shows who you are, that details how many views you have, how many listeners you may have on a DSP, gives you all of your information, your biography, everything you need, so that when I look at it, I know who you are as an artist, and may potentially add you as an opening act for some of these artists, some of these performances and shows that we have coming through. You have to build locally. I know that sounds dated, because you're on YouTube and you may have a global, following, but I promise you, build locally, and that will slowly expand, because it's important. You start at some of these smaller venues, and now you could probably say in every major market there is a music festival. you know, it will give you an opportunity to potentially be one of the opening slots on a music festival in your market. I haven't seen something where if you know, I use, you know, in the United States, I'll use Atlanta as an example. A lot of artists who come from Atlanta have really built up themselves in that particular market, in New York, in Philadelphia, in Los Angeles. It's so important to build yourself up locally and to really reach out to some of these local promoters. The two largest promoters, you know, are Live Nation and AEG. You should do your research, find out what venues are owned or operated by Live Nation or AEG, and reach out, because they're going to have the biggest surplus of shows in any given year for you to have an opportunity to open up for and get into their database, because that's super important.
Now, all right. So, Brandon Pankey, wow, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for the knowledge. And again, there's a longer video that you guys can take all the knowledge, all the data that he's about to impart. There's a lot of incredible information about how to get put on. You know, if you are an artist that is really interested in performing in some of these venues, think about it. You know, what if Live Nation is doing a major concert in your city? You know, those happen all the time. And by the way, don't think of the ginormous venues. Also think of the local. You know, there's a lot of small venues that are in your local area that are owned by Live Nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are ways to also connect. And again, he goes in depth into a whole amazing way that you can reach out to these local promoters and they can start allowing you to get put on those concerts.
Mm-hmm. And Brandon, we're coming for you because we also have a very special guest who is a music entrepreneur from Detroit, Michigan, Piper Carter. If you're out there watching today, she's one of our VIP guests. She actually bought the 360 branding package that we have available because she's looking to really take her business and create a new business strategy for the market in Detroit. Because I was talking to her last night and she said these artists are sleeping on Detroit. They come to Chicago and they think they hit the Midwest and they're missing out. I'm from Michigan myself, so I know if you guys aren't going there, you're missing a huge market. So we need to make that connect. And that's the kind of stuff that we do here is, you know, really facilitate. We're not just all talk, we're making these things happen. So we're bringing a ton of support behind her. So if you guys have ideas and things that you're trying to do to you know, bring more artists to your market, whatever it is, again, let us know. We're here to help you figure out how to make your dream come true, no matter how big it is, how crazy it is. What do we call ourselves? Delusionaries. You got to be a little delusional, a little visionary. That's the perfect mix right there. If someone called you a little delusional, who said that you were crazy, said that your dream was too big, you're right on the right mark. Am I right, Mike?
Absolutely. I mean,
you know, you've hit the innovation when people say you're a little too crazy.
Yeah, no, but I gotta say, so for the people watching the show, you know, whether you're doing it live or later, you have no idea how hard these two work to make anything happen. So you got to do the same thing.
Yes.
Delusionary.
Yep,
right?
delusionary. That's it. That's what it's all about.
That's it.
So listen, there's tons of content that we just didn't get to show you, but we are going to be uploading everything. We're also going to have some live events so we can have meet and greets. You can meet with these founders. You can meet with these executives. You can meet with these artists. You can do all of that. Let me just run through a few of the sessions that are going to be coming up that you're going to see. Of course, we mentioned Kadar with Kiana and DJ FMI. We've got also Oscar from Breaking Hits. He's going to give you the formula to breaking hits, where it's all about the music. That's also one thing we didn't get a chance to touch on so much today was the production. What are we doing here? Are we already rolling the credits? Am I that girl like that's up there giving the speech and all of a sudden the credits roll? But guess what we've got? Jerry Wanda. Jerry Wanda is coming. You know, he's family to us. You probably saw him with Music Entrepreneur last year. Unfortunately, he's in India right now having the time of his life. So he's going to be back next week. We're going to do a live session right in his studio. So if you've ever wanted to get into one of the biggest studios in New York City and you want to see how the masters do it.
Platinum Sound Recording Studios.
Platinum Sounds, Wanda Music, we love you. Wanda Wow Multimedia, you know, we got that coming as well. So you've got some really exciting things like that. Also, we've got Sly Rock. She's going to be talking everything branding, really building out that foundation. We've got Quasi and Bitwage. You got to learn about what's coming with cryptocurrency, what's coming with NFTs. We've got people like Rob Schwartz.
What is Bitwage?
Building that.
Just give them the 30 seconds.
Bitwage, how to get your wages in Bitcoin. So you got
Could
to
you
start
imagine?
talking to your companies and letting them know, I don't want this money. I want this Bitcoin. So
I'll give you a perfect example. One of our friends and family. This guy is more than just a friend and family. This guy is somebody that's always evolving, revolutionizing, and a marketing genius. His name is Odell Beckham Jr. Big shout out to you. We love you. With the Rams now, so you already know he's doing it big. So he decided that this year, he just announced it. You can go on his profile and check it out. He announced that from now on, he's getting paid in Bitcoin. Think about it. He's getting his NFL salary in Bitcoin. That's never happened before. It's just genius. And the guy, again, is a marketing guru. Young man, still crushing it. So happy belated birthday. It was his birthday last month.
And so let's not forget everything financial literacy. We've got Jeff Hammer, who's going to roll out that financial plan for you. He's doing a one-on-one coach directly with some artists. Rami from the CEO of Finmark. This is going to be the perfect way for you to build out that business model and really figure out what your financial projections can be, what kind of budget do you need to have for your career. So many things like that and so much more. Again, thank you all for joining us. This has really been so special. We can't thank you enough for taking your time and trusting us with your time, because we know how valuable that is. And listen, we're touching the lives of people around the world. And someone who is watching, who we really need to take care of. Not everywhere around the world are we able to, and especially women, I'm speaking to you, do we have the freedom to use our voice to stand up for what we want. And there is a young woman who comes from the Middle East. I'm not going to give you the exact details. We're going to send you a link to this. She created a beautiful song, just bringing artists together around the world, especially after all the separation and all the anxiety and fear and everything that we've, really been laden with throughout quarantine. She created a beautiful song to just help us all heal and move forward. And where she comes from, women are not supposed to use their voice in that way. They are not supposed to sing. And she actually was going to be arrested. The government drained her bank account. She had to escape her country, and she's on her own right now with very little resources and really looking for our help. So I want you to read her story. We're going to put a link up here to the GoFundMe page, and just want to send her a message to her. We love you. And although we're just connecting, know that you have a family here. And as soon as you get out of this issue, which you will, we're going to come together and we're going to be making some music together. So, Jalen, what are some last words that you want to share with our beautiful Me family here?
I want to say that, sorry that we have some technical difficulties at the very beginning. And, that happens sometimes. Sometimes the equipment doesn't communicate with humans the way that it wants to, the way that we want to communicate with it. No, the idea is very simple. At the end of the day, what matters is that we have this personal connection. You guys can always find us on IG and of course on our website. You can always send us an email as well. I put up the link, info@worldartistunited.com. You can see our IGs right now. Send us a DM, send us a message, talk to us. Listen, we are doing amazing things. Yes, we are having a lot of fun. We didn't even get to talk about really the projects that we're working on, which are just out of this world, super awesome. So guess what? Why not? You can collaborate with us. Why can't you have a great time and enjoy all the networking that we've done and what has got us to this place? So reach out to us. I mean, here's what it comes down to. Are you really about it? Are you really, really excited and ready to work and get it done? Here's to people that are actually enjoying life by doing what we love. Along with our team, we have a nice, beautiful team that is creating every day together and on the grind. And we got major projects and we got small projects. We got dreams and visions, and then we've got goals and things that we have to accomplish and things that we keep each other accountable for. So if you want to be a part of the team, feel more than free to. As a matter of fact, I'll show you the email right now. Our email is boom, info@worldartistunited.com. Send us an email. And, you know, all I can say is like, we are here for you. We're going to do a lot more of this. We're actually going to figure out a way that we can stream more often, get together with you more. If you want to see a podcast, if you want to see some of the content, you will just send us an email, but you will see it on musicentrepreneurconference.com. And I should probably pop up that email just in case, because I know some of you can't spell entrepreneur. Let's be real. All right. So I'm going to put it up for you and probably get it wrong as well.
And real quickly, thank you so much to the crew, to everyone who's been here helping us, all of you. Woo! Thank you. Mike Pell as well. Microsoft Garage.
Patience.
Come on. This is so cool. Thank you. These fun chairs. I need one of them in my house. You're the best. So just appreciate everything that you've been able to do.
And wait a second. I have to do something before we do leave. I have to just give you guys, just look. I just want to show you just how crazy this is behind us right here, because I think it's important that you understand how epic this is.
We'll take you guys on a tour on our IG, so you're not going to miss out there.
Yeah. So go on our IG right now. Follow us at Music Entrepreneur. So we're going to go ahead and give you a little tour in a little bit. Actually, that's what we should do probably on the way out. Just go live for 3 or 4 minutes. Show you guys the room, and more importantly, the space where Mr. Pell himself creates, along with his team, incredible innovations, and the rest of the Microsoft employees come to play. This is like a playground where people come in and really lay out their ideas on the table and collaborate together. Our theme has always been collaborate and rise, and that doesn't change. This is exactly what we are asking you to do with us. You can be a part of incredible products, incredible projects, and we are ready to go. So the last thing we're going to do for you is that we have a special visitor that came here live.
At the end of the day, this is all about love.
Yeah.
We have nothing without that.
And
so
this is awesome because this is very unexpected, but we always make it work. We're going to have somebody show you what it is to share their talent with you. So without further ado,
let's welcome Eliza Beloved.
Hey.
Get out.
Eliza B. Love. Walking down the street, minding my beat, I catch him looking at me, watch him see how I fly. I'm smooth, like a calculated groove. It's true, Eliza B on the move, so I must continue, cause that is what I'm into. So meet me at the spot, the man is monumental. It's right up the block, higher than Continental. We screwing at the twins, I'm peeping out his mental. Monumental, he said, well, how come we don't know you? What's your style anyway? I'm from the back. They call me Charlie Ray, and judging by that ass, well, you get a stack. But I give away the point. Rock and roll it, baby, bring the music, here we come. So I'm a rock and roll it, baby, bring your people, here we come. Come rain on me. Some call it crazy, I just know I'm supposed to be free, babe. Yeah, they know we flying like them birds, open minds, spreading wings. We see the picture painted clear. Come on, why you whispering? We screaming over here, steer clear. Come rain on me. Some call it crazy, I just know I'm supposed to be free, babe. Yeah, they know we flying like the birds, open minds, spreading wings. We see the picture painted clear. Come on, why you whispering? We screaming over here, steer clear. Come rain, no fear. Walk like a king, we on the epic over here, we up here. See, this our year. The vision is the point in action count peers here cheer. I'ma give away the point. Rock and roll it, baby, bring the music, here we come. Uh-huh. Rock and roll it, baby, bring the music, here we come. Uh-huh. Rock and roll it, baby, bring the music, here we come. Now they coming to my show, screaming out loud, how low can you go to the flow? We the best and now you know. Take a picture, daddy, see the green means go. I'll have the Merlot. Yeah, I'm gonna see how slim your stereo, see the glow. The picture painted clear. Come on, why you whispering? We screaming over here, steer clear. Come rain, no fear. Walk like a queen, we on the episode and here reappear. See, this our year. The vision is the point in action count peers. Here, cheer. I'ma give away the point. Rock and roll it, baby, bring the music, here we come. Rock and roll it, baby, bring the music, here we come. Rock and roll it, baby, bring the music, here we come. Thank you. My name is Eliza Be Loved.
All right, just wanted to again, this was very, very awesome. We just met her, and she happened to be on set here, hanging out with some friends. So thank you so much for just sharing your talent with us. It's amazing. Tell us a little bit about your journey. Where are you now? What are you doing? Are you from New York City?
No,
you can talk.
I'm not from New York City. I migrated to New York City about 15 years ago. But
You're from New York City.
I'm from New York City at this point.
Yeah.
So
where?
Mississippi.
Oh, nice.
Mississippi.
What?
Yeah, I know, right?
That's amazing.
I went to school in Alabama, and just growing up, I always wanted to live in New York City. That's just They were like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I was like, "I want to model in New York City," and I had all these ideas. So that was literally my motivation for going to school. And eventually, I got here. When I got here, it's just been layers being peeled, music being created. And here we are 15 years later. Eliza Be Loved is still rising. And this conference, I'm going to, I already absorbed a lot of information, but I'm literally going to just block out time in my schedule to watch these videos one by one with my notepad and just, be more in action, because there was a lot of good gems dropped here today. So I appreciate you. I'm going to take this and run 2022.
For sure. Thank you. And the idea is, again, listen, we're going to do something awesome. We're going to organize all this information into a way that you can actually take, create a roadmap, right? You're going to reverse engineer your greatness. That's what you're going to do. You're going to take where you want to be, and you're going to say, okay, these are the steps that it takes. Oh, here's the information from these videos. This is where I can put these things on my roadmap. This is where I can use it. These are the people I can contact. And that's it. Anyway, without thank you so much for being here. And I just want to say to everyone watching, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for staying tuned the past couple of days. And thank you for your patience. And more than anything, you'll see us soon. Rachel, you want to say any last words? Much love.
Bye. See you soon.
Peace.